afternoon, football fans, and welcome. Community Television, proud to present for you most comfortable with. Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome. Community Television, proud to present for you amateur adult football. Today it's the Santa Cruz Spirit playing host to the Solano Chiefs. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joel Domhoff alongside Gino Panelli. And Gino, we've seen the Spirit throughout the season now. We're coming down towards the end. They had a big injury, devastating injury to their starting quarterback, Ricardo De La Paz. They've brought in Santa Cruz High product, Wade Wallace. He's starting to get more comfortable in the offense.
Yeah, he looked a little rusty last week. Obviously, that was only a timing issue. We talked to Coach Clark earlier today before the game, and he pointed that out quite clearly. Wade had only had about 2 hours of practice. So coming into this game, they had a bye week, which you'll discuss there as far as the playoff seeding and how their league's been shaping up as far as wins and losses. But he said Wade looks more comfortable. He's actually got 7 or 8 plays that he feels most comfortable with after he learned the basics of, straight dives, traps, handoffs, such as that. He's going to start getting in a little bit more wide-open offense. So hopefully today, Joel, we're going to see a little bit of performance from Wade, being more comfortable along with the whole team. I guess they've had 2 weeks to regroup from that pretty devastating loss to Redwood City that we witnessed last time. But they look pretty strong today. Everyone looks fired up. And obviously we have a Solano team that's undermanned, to say the least. And we'll see how that progresses through the day.
The Chiefs in their road red with white numbers. Santa Cruz in their now familiar purple jerseys with white pants and white numbers. And kicking off for Santa Cruz to open the game will be defensive lineman Damon Hansen. One of those not able to make it here on this holiday weekend was the kicker Jose Romero. So Hansen takes over, and he gets off a pretty good one. Back deep to receive it for Solano's number 1, Joe Beecham. And he takes it up the middle, hesitates, tries to bounce outside, shakes and shimmies. And he's finally brought down just short of the 30-yard line where Solano will take over. 1st and 10 on a beautiful day for football. And as Gino mentioned at the top, Santa Cruz got a win because one of the teams actually folded in the league, which gave Santa Cruz a win. It ran their record down to 3-3, which essentially puts them in the playoffs. So now these last 2 games, today and next week against Alameda, are for playoff seeding. We'll see what kind of offense Solano brings here. As Gino told you, they're severely undermanned. Only 17 players here on their roster of 44 have made the trip. So they will obviously have to make some adjustments and avoid injuries as their sideline is very thin. Quarterback for Solano, number 12, that's Stacy Thompson. And he's got deep, that's their running back, Tony Red. And he looks to pass on a halfback option. He's got Beecham open, and he catches it inside the 30. He beats down to the 25-yard line, out of bounds. He beat number 2. That's D. Adams for Santa Cruz. So right out of the box, Gino, Solano goes tricky, and it works.
Well, before I could say anything, I was going to say, Coach Clark said, look out for number 1, Joe Beecham. He's the best wide receiver, playmaker, athlete in the league, according to Coach Clark. And there it is, first play, flea flicker right away. He comes out firing, and he hits his man. Looks like D. Adams might have recovered pretty well there, but they completed the pass, and that's a big opener. It's going to be interesting to see how long it takes them to drive today. Being undermanned, you don't want to keep offense and defenses on the field too long. So we'll see how that works out for them.
Ball marked at the 24 of Santa Cruz. 3 backs behind the quarterback, Stacy Thompson. Give up the middle is to number 17. That's Tony Red. He breaks free, breaks 2 tackles. He's going to sprint to the end zone and get there. Touchdown, Solano. 2 plays, 6 points. Just like that, the Chiefs are on the board.
2 plays, 65 yards. Not a bad opening drive, Joel. That's not a good sign for the Spirit. They're coming out here looking for some domination on an undermanned football team. That is not the way to go. You don't want anybody that has any kind of, negative connotation on their team to get any kind of momentum going, especially the first 2 plays of the game. So let's see what Santa Cruz has to offer on their first drive of the game.
Well, number 17 for Solano, Tony Red, he's listed on their roster as a defensive back, but because they're undermanned, wow, that was the Tony Red drive as he threw the halfback option and then took it in himself, and now they'll go for 2. Sweep left side is Brent Casiglio. He tries to get outside. Penalty flag down. He makes it in, but we'll check the flag. We've got a clip against Solano, so the two-point conversion will not be allowed. They'll back him up. And it could be, Gino, that Solano, because of the fact their roster is so thin, doesn't have their kicker here, which is what we may see a lot of two-pointers today.
Yeah, it looked like in the pregame, Joel, I didn't see anybody, as we usually see, kicking field goals, kicking off, punting, that whole aspect of the game. No one on the other sidelines was doing that, so yeah, they probably will go for 2 points on most occasions today.
Well, judging by those first two plays, they may not have a problem getting 2 points and getting big yards. Santa Cruz has not stopped them, even on that play, despite the penalty. Casiglio went in for the conversion, as I said, so the Spirit defense is going to have to make some early adjustments here to combat this Chiefs team, who we should tell you, folks, when they are at full strength, are one of the top teams in the league. They're currently in second place with the 4-2 record. Last year, they made it all the way to the championship game before losing, so a formidable opponent for the Spirit. Play action pass. They're going to go for two again. They got a man out there. That's number 3 with the catch. That's Joe Love. 2 points. Solano, 8-0 Chiefs. Only 4 minutes gone by.
4 for 4, right? Even with the penalty, they still scored on that. I mean, they're 4 for 4. They came out, you know, for only having 17 players, they are awfully sharp. I'm watching the, the way that they're blocking and the way that they're setting up, and they're obviously very comfortable with their offense. And, you know, if they stay like this the whole game, I mean, there was defensive back, and that was Jamel Vaughn, who's by far one of the top defensive backs in the league, was even fooled on that one. So some adjustments need to be made early, Joel, and we've got to see what happens here moving on in this game.
Time for the Spirit to wake up here as they quickly face an 8-0 deficit. And what has been their strength throughout the season, their defense, just was annihilated by that drive. So they're going to clearly have to make some adjustments on their side. And now we'll see what Wade Wallace and the offense can do against the, as we said now numerous times, undermanned Chiefs defense. Back deep to receive for Santa Cruz, it's number 11, Santos Garcia, and number 2, D. Adams, the defensive back formerly known as David. First it was Dave, then he wanted David, now he wants D. So he's changed his name more than Prince. And we'll see what he can do here as the returner of this kickoff.
Yeah, well, let's see if the Spirit can get some decent field position, being that the Chiefs don't have a kicker. We'll see what's going to happen here. Maybe we'll get a bad kick, some good field position, and they can start off in the good territory, good offensive territory themselves and get something started.
Well, Gino, kicking off for the Chiefs, it'll be number 31, Darnell Leonore, and he's listed as a linebacker on their roster, so we'll see what the big linebacker can do with his foot, see if his toe has any power in it here. As this small but vocal crowd, and there's a sideways kick. That's a penalty, so a big break there for the Spirit, as you said, Gino, taking advantage of this undermanned roster. They get a linebacker kicking off, and it's clear he hasn't done much of that. Ball marked out of bounds at the 45-yard line, so great field position for the Spirit to start this game.
Well, like we talked about earlier, Joel, we didn't know at the time, but last week we kept saying, where's Borjon, where's Borjon, where's Borjon? He had a broken hand, and that's something we didn't find out till after the game, unfortunately, and we apologize for delving on that point throughout the game, that we were never notified of that during the game or during halftime. So I'm not sure. We hear he's healthy today. Beltran, I know, is a latecomer today, so he's just getting warmed up, but I see him in the game. So Borjon's out for now, but he's healthy as far as we know.
Beltran behind Wade Wallace, 3 receiver set, Santa Cruz ball, 1st and 10 at their own 45. Wallace drawing the defense offside with the cadence that time. Should be offsides on the Solano defense, and now good field position becomes even better, and 1st and 10 will become 1st and 5.
Well, Joe, I like the fact that Wade, that was a better play, albeit the penalty, than anything we saw in the first 5 or 6 in the last telecast we did. Straight handoff. Wade looks very much more comfortable under center. Back stepping, handing off the ball. So right away, just in that first play, there's a lot of improvement since the last time we've seen this offense with Wade at the helm.
And, Gino, you mentioned Rich Borjon. He's on the sideline. His fingers are taped, but no cast or anything noticeable like that on either hand, so he could see some time today. 1st and 5, ball at midfield, 3 receivers, Beltran behind Wallace, And we'll go back the other way now as the Spirit jumped on the offensive line. Looked like number 52 for Santa Cruz. That's Joe Stachula, the right guard. So we're back where we started, 1st and 10 at the 45.
Yeah, we'll get underway soon. One thing I noticed, Joel, is from the last time we've watched the Spirit, I'm watching 4 wide receivers already on the first offensive play of the game from Coach Clark. Obviously, with the whole Wade Wilson, there I go saying that again. Wade factor of last time, they were in the, as you remember, the box I formation, straight dive, just to get him some reps, to get him comfortable. Now they're definitely spreading it out, so this could be a much more wide open, more fun to watch, more effective offense for the Spirit this week.
Wallace now in the shotgun, 5 receiver set here for Coach Clark, so clearly they're opening it up. Almost an offsides on Solano, but they get back. Wallace out of the shotgun, rolls right, looks for a man under heavy pressure. He gets it away smartly. Pass ball's incomplete, but he avoids the loss. Wade pleading for a roughing the quarterback call to no avail, so it'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, with the Chiefs, Joel, they sent the backer that time. That was an all-out blitz right there. As you can see, he was just breathing down Wade's throat. What we're probably going to see from the Chiefs is a lot of stunts, a lot of blitzes, a lot of probably trick plays. When you only have 17 guys, you're not going to get a lot of rest. They're going to have to take advantage of anything they can at this point. So we're going to have to watch for that today, and the Spirit are going to have to watch for blitzes and stunts and flea flickers that we've seen in the very first play of the game.
2nd and 10 now. Wallace remains in the shotgun. 5 receivers for him to choose from, including tight end Robert Harrington, Henry Torres, Danny Alejandrez, and others. We'll get their names to you. Wallace on a quick out, underthrows number 81. That's David McLemore, the intended receiver on the left side. Again, Wade under huge pressure that time. He ends up on his backside, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
Yeah, for a quick drop in his screen, number 97 for the Chiefs, Dave Bennett, was all over Wallace. I mean, if he's not going to get time to throw a quick screen, a 3-4 step screen, they're going to have to change their blocking scheme and get some pads on these guys, because Wade needs time to throw. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he has a strong arm, and he's tall. If he can see his receiver, I think he's got a chance of hitting him. They got to give him a little time today.
Coach Clark clearly trying to build the confidence of his quarterback, Wade Wallace, by opening up here his offense, going to 4 and 5 receiver sets. But again, we'll see if they eventually go back to Bourgeon, who Coach Clark told us was healthy. He's been on the sideline this entire drive. 3rd and 10 now. Beltran stands behind Wallace. Fumble under center. Wallace dove forward to recover it, but that'll be a loss on the play. They'll force a punt. So not the best start for Santa Cruz. It'll be 4th and 11, so they failed to take advantage of that great field position. And as we told you, their kicker, Jose Romero, not here. So into punt for Santa Cruz will be number 11, Santos Garcia.
Well, there you had, Joel, 3rd down and long, and you could see the Chiefs. They were throwing the house at them that time. They had both backers lined up on the ends coming, and you could see it coming. They didn't back off at all. And obviously, you know, we've said it over and over, but with Wade not having that time to get super comfortable with the offense, probably not an audible in his repertoire at this point, which could change things later on down the road.
Garcia back to punt, deep for Solano. It appears to be number 1, Joe Beecham, and it is. High kick by Garcia, very impressive. Floats in the air. Solano lets it bounce, takes a bit of a Spirit bounce, and down there to down it at the 27-yard line is number 7, David Gagiri. So a great punt by Santos Garcia there to pin Solano deep.
Yeah, that was nice, because there you have it, number 1, Joe Beecham. We've already said it and heard it, the best athlete in the league. It was a nice high punt, gave the Spirit time to get down underneath that and make good coverage. Because if that guy gets in the open field, I think he's pretty dangerous, just from what we've seen so far.
So 2nd possession of the game for the Solano Chiefs. They lead 8-0 here. 4.5 minutes gone by, 1st quarter, on yet another beautiful day for football here in the Valley of Felton at San Lorenzo Valley High School. They are spoiled up here, folks. It's foggy and cloudy at the coast, but up here you'd never know it. I formation here now behind quarterback Stacy Thompson. Spirit threaten a blitz. Gives to the deep back Tony Red. He goes up the middle. Falls forward for about 5 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 5.
It was a nice play by our big Lamar Brooks. He's one of our favorites, I know, up here in the booth. Fun to watch. Fun to listen to, actually. He's always got a comment or two. Fires up his team in the crowd. He's playing the depth the left defensive tackle position, he came all the way across the line to make that stop because Solano's getting off the ball. They're getting 2-3 yards of carry, no problem until there's contact. So, like we said, the defense, that's been, been the best thing we've seen so far for the Spirit. They need to buckle down.
Ball at the 32, 2nd and 5. Give us to the fullback, number 58 for Solano. Bowling his way forward is Kurt Passetti, normally a linebacker, but running back on this play, and he got good yardage. Will be close to a first down. We may even have to measure, but nonetheless an impressive play again from Solano.
This could work both ways for Solano. I mean, obviously they have no choice. They got to put players in positions they're not used to. But if you got your linebackers at fullbacks and that wide receiver, they got to get tired later on down the road, and their defense is going to suffer for it. So maybe the Spirit can take advantage of it towards the beginning of the second half and into the fourth quarter. Maybe they'll start wearing down. You can't have your linebacker running 4, 5, 10 times a game without getting tired on both ends sides of the ball.
Passetti got enough for the first down. 1st and 10, Solano at the 38. Roll out there. Quick blitz that time. Will Lenzner all over it. He got a hold of the quarterback, number 12, Stacy Thompson, who then tried to pitch it to Tony Red, and Lenzner hit him as well.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Lesnar, who's one of my favorite players to watch on the Spirit team. He, being a linebacker, he lined up on the right end of the line. He was coming, and no one blocked him. He ran all the way around, just got to the quarterback as he pitched it, and forced that play to go nowhere. That was a nice play by him.
They're going to call it a loss of 3 on the plays. The ball was pitched backwards by the quarterback, and it fell out of bounds at the 35, so it's a 2nd and 13 for Solano. Split backs now behind Stacy Thompson. 2 receivers, Beecham in the slot. Deep pass by Thompson. He's got a man out there, and it's caught. That's number 3, Joe Love, into Santa Cruz territory. Another first down for Solano. Impressive pass, impressive catch into double coverage, Gino.
Yeah, that was nice. I'm surprised that ball hung up so long. There's a slight breeze, and he threw it, and it was hanging for a while, and I thought D. Adams might have a chance of getting it from the safety position. But a great throw, great throw by Thompson. He laid it out there, and Love just ran under it and caught it and made a couple more yards. Another nice play by the Chiefs. They're obviously a well-schooled offense and defensive team from what we've seen so far, undermanned or not.
And they're doing it against the strength of the Spirit defense, and that, as you mentioned, is Jamil Vaughn, who's been impressive all season. Coach Clark told us he trusted Vaughn to take Beecham one-on-one today, or whoever their outside receiver was, but he hasn't been able to stop him yet. Give now is to the running back, Tony Red. Jukes and jives his way forward for about 6 or 7 yards. He's inside the Santa Cruz 30-yard line. It'll be 2nd and short.
It looks like what the Chiefs are doing is the Spirit does have Jamil Vaughn on Beecham, and they're going the opposite way. They're kind of using Beecham as a decoy until the Spirit forget about him, and then they're going to him. So far, they've thrown twice to Love with success. They're running Red at will. No one's been able to stop him yet, and he looks like a no-nonsense kind of a runner, just kind of straightforward. He's got some good moves in the hole. Big guy, so once he gets past the line of scrimmage and gets his shoulder square, he's tough to bring down.
Well, they mark the ball at the 28-yard line. They need to get to the 24, so it'll be 2nd and 4. And to try and stop this onslaught, Coach Clark calls timeout as his defense is clearly in need of an adjustment, a wake-up call. Something's got to happen on that side of the football. Right now, Solano having its way with the Spirit defense, already leading 8-0. Only 7 minutes gone by first quarter, and they're threatening to add on to that 8-0 lead. We see Rich Bourgeon trying to stay loose here on the sideline. We hope he can eventually get in on the offensive side of the ball, because when we have seen him run, he's been very impressive. But thus far in that first series anyways, Bourgeon remains on the sideline. See Bourgeon there.
Looks like Red's gone off the field for a equipment adjustment, Joel, so we'll see who they're going to throw in the tailback position. Looks like number 29, Brent Casiglio.
He is the eye back behind the quarterback, Thompson. Play action. Thompson under pressure. He's able to scramble away from one, but he can't get away from big 99, Lamar Brooks. Big sack for the Spirit, trying to wake up this crowd and his teammates. Loss of 6 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 10.
I think you got to give the assist to Damon Hanson there. He was bull rushing from the defensive end position. He actually made the quarterback step up right into Lamar, who was also in the backfield. So a nice tandem play there. That's usually how the defense works. One guy kind of pushes him somewhere and someone else gets the credit for it. But that was a nice play by Hansen.
Back to the original line of scrimmage for Solano. It's 3rd and 10 from the Santa Cruz 33-yard line. 4 down linemen for the Spirit defense as Solano goes shotgun now with split backs. Beecham not open, but Joe Love is, and he shakes and makes the catch. He gets first down yardage. We'll check the penalty flag here, though. So a nice pass by Stacy Thompson. He had time. And already we're seeing the fire from the Solano side of the field as their coach not happy with that call. And we'll check the penalty here, Gino.
Yeah, another nice play, Joel. I mean, he's getting time to throw. It looks like Thompson doesn't need a lot of time to throw. He looks very comfortable, like he's played football at the quarterback position before. And his receivers have been wide open all day. We talked about it again. Beecham locked up with Jamal Vaughn, and they've just thrown over and over and over to Love. It's 3-4 passes already, all of them complete, all of them for good yardage. Despite this penalty, they're moving the ball without any problems. But defense, which we've seen be their strength, as we said, need to make an adjustment, get a little bit more pressure on the quarterback, and make some things happen here so their offense can get back on the field.
And, Gino, we were burned last telecast by not knowing about Rich Bourgeon's injury. We may not know about an injury to Kelvin Nivens, number 4 for the Spirit. He's usually in there on the defensive side of the ball as a defensive back, and he's on the sideline in front of us as well. So injuries could be a factor, and while all this is going on, we're still trying to figure out the penalty. Coach Clark's out there arguing with the opposing coach about an interpretation, apparently. Who knows? But while that's going on, it actually gives us a chance to thank our crew who's helped to put this game together. Our producer and director, Will Anderson. Camera people, Roger Ewell, Patrick Chose, and Jan James. Audio man, as always, doing a great job, is Dan Edler. Technical assistance provided by Angel Ayala. And my color man, who's also served as a carpenter here today, folks, hammering up our platform, which we use to keep all our notes on, Gino Panelli. So,
and I'll tell my wife that. She'll make me go home and do something now.
Trying to make it all work for community television.
And during this break, Joe, I just noticed I saw 2 more Solano Chiefs player walk in uniform. Looked like number 9, Mauricio Davis, who's a wide receiver, which obviously they don't need any more of those. We just haven't left Beecham as we've seen. And also it looked like 19, Daryl Merritt, who's a defensive lineman. So 2 more players, to give some rest to the guys that have already been playing. And with an 8-0 lead, and obviously pretty dominating offensive drive going again, nothing the Spirit wanted to see, guys getting opportunities to rest. I think that was going to be one of the factors here today, is them taking advantage of the undermanned squad and hopefully tiring out in the end and taking advantage of that. So we'll see how that turns out later on in the game.
And, Gino, we finally, after that long delay, got a call from the referees. It was a illegal chop block on Solano. So that play will be backed up. We'll see where they figure out where to mark the ball, but either way, a big break for the Spirit. Otherwise, it would have been first down Solano deep in Santa Cruz territory. This will back them up considerably.
Well, this is going to help the Spirit. I mean, they need to keep them out of striking distance because they have no kicker. Solano has no kicker, so you're not going to get a field goal out of them today. So if they can stay 20, 25 yards out and not give them an opportunity for a big play towards the end zone, they're going to have to punt or they're going to have to go for it on fourth down all day, and that could work right in the favor of the Spirit.
So we finally back it up. The ball placed at the 46 of Santa Cruz. It'll be 1st and 25, as that was a 15-yard penalty. So Solano backed up quite a bit now. They've got to get to the Santa Cruz 21 for a first down. And it's actually, they're having a hard time with the down marker over there, but it's actually 3rd down and 25. So who knows? We'll go with it. We're not certain, folks, but either way, it's a long way to go. Shotgun formation. Thompson goes back, goes deep. Tried to hit Beecham that time. He was blanketed by Jamil Vaughn. Pass short anyways. So good defense there. Incomplete pass, and who knows what down it is, but
Looks like
that
they
one
changed
didn't
it
work.
back to second, so maybe Well, coming up on third, I got lost in the shuffle. But there's the matchup we've been talking about, Joel. Vaughn against Beecham. Vaughn all over Beecham. No chance he's going to catch that, even with a good pass. Actually, I think a good pass gets intercepted. And like Coach Clark was saying, he thinks Jamal Vaughn's one of the best in the league at that cover position, not because he's his own player, but Coach Clark being around football and being in this type of a league for years now, he said he's definitely one of the better DBs he's seen coached in any league. So we just saw a great presentation of that.
It appears to be fourth down now and 25, Gino, so we'll see what they try and do here.
We're counting by twos today. I'm not sure.
Either way, it appears as if Solano will go for it unless they try a pooch punt, which we saw Ricardo De La Paz do a few weeks back for Santa Cruz, so who knows. They've got D. Adams deep just in case they do try that. But no, they're going to pass. Thompson, he's looking to go deep. He's got a man wide open. That's Joe Love over the middle of the field. Cuts back and trots into the end zone. Huge defensive breakdown. He beat number 12, Raymond Paris, for Santa Cruz. And just like that, it's 14-0 Solano. 4th and 25 from the 46, and they get a touchdown.
That's just unacceptable. Coach Clark's got to be kicking himself right now. 4th and 25 and a shotgun. You got your DBs playing 20 yards off the ball, and they just run Love up the field, and he had time to throw it, and he found him again. I haven't seen anybody cover that guy yet. They might have to put Vaughn on him and take their chances with Beecham down the road, but that's a big play. That's a big play when you back up a good team like that and then give up a big play. That's devastating.
Not only that, Gino, it was the way they did it. No one within 5 yards of Love on that pattern. He was wide open. I think I could have found him on that pass, and my arm's killing me. So who knows what's going on. But 2-point conversion now. The give is number 29. That's their linebacker / defensive back, Brent Casiglio. And despite bobbling the handoff, he still gets it in. So just like that, with 8 minutes gone by in the first quarter, Solano quickly out to a 16-0 lead.
Yeah, I don't like the way the line's coming off the ball. Usually we're used to that ferocious Spirit defensive line, always in the backfield. That time, like you said, he bobbled the ball, was straight up, ready to get blasted. Most running backs are, lose their helmets on plays like that. He found the ball and still was able to walk 3 yards into the end zone. So we've got to get that Spirit line. Maybe we'll hear Brooks here pretty soon getting firing up the team.
Gino, how much of this do you credit Solano with, and how much do you say Santa Cruz has to get it going? It appears their offensive line is really handling the defensive line. Is it Santa Cruz just not getting off the ball, or do you credit Solano?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, you mentioned it earlier in the telecast, Solano's won this championship before, so obviously they have some players that have been here that played football, and they're a disciplined team from what we've seen. Undermanned or not, they're clicking on all gears with 15 or 11. I mean, all you need is 11 to get out on the field. Like I said, I think it's both ways. Spirit seemed to be fired up, but that first drive kind of took a little air out of their balloon. So now they need to fire it up again, start firing off the ball, and get back the intensity that we're used to seeing from that defensive line.
Again, it's Santos Garcia and D. Adams deep for Santa Cruz, but judging by the first kick, it may not matter. Low squib that time by the linebacker, taken by the up back. That's Danny Alejandro as the wide receiver. He avoids one tackler, can avoid a second, but it'll still be great field position again for the Spirit as Alejandro is finally brought down about the 38-yard line. So we'll see what Coach Jim Clark and quarterback Wade Wallace have going this drive. See if they get Rich Bourgeon into the game, and apparently, they're not going to. He still sits on the bench below us. So
yeah, I haven't seen him in the game on defense either. I'm wondering if there is some kind of injury we don't know about, but we'll have to see at halftime. Maybe we can get some information for you folks.
Ball marked at the 38-yard line, as I said. Wade Wallace has gotten the instructions from his coach. Trots into the huddle along with running back Anastasio Beltran. David Gagiri in the game as a wide receiver. Henry Torres, Danny Alejandro, and tight end Robert Harrington split wide as well. So 4 receivers for Wallace. Beltran up back behind him. Solano with an 8-man front. Give is to Beltran, who's tripped up by his own man. Looked like Brian Howard on the offensive line. kind of tripped up Beltran. Otherwise, it looked like he had some room to run.
Yeah, that's not a bad play. Once again, the Chiefs, they have everybody on the line. You make one good block on the offensive line, create any kind of hole, and the running back's gone because there's no linebackers. He's not going to get tackled till DB catches him. Unfortunately for Beltran, he got tripped up by somebody initially on the line there and only gained a couple yards, but not a bad play.
Got it to the 40-yard line, did Beltran, so it's 2nd and 8 for Santa Cruz. And again, it's 4 receivers. Wallace, we saw him in the shotgun, but he's back under center now. And again, it's a 7-man front for Solano. Quick out to Alejandro's. He's open. He cuts upfield, close to first down yardage. He got about 7 on the play. So a confidence booster there for Wade Wallace, his first completion, Gino, and it'll set up a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, well, that's what we talked about last time we did this game is those quick passes. And actually, I spoke to Wade during the week, and he was saying the same thing. I just need to get rid of the ball, get it to my receivers, and let them do the work. And that was exactly what happened there. He had a second to throw it. He found them, and they got some yardage. Once again, it looks like Solano packs in their linebackers so deep into the line that there's really no one to cover that middle ground. Usually there's a backer there covering a tight end or a back out. So I'm almost hoping to see them release the tight end over the middle. You know, he's a bigger guy. Maybe he can get it up there and make some more yardage.
They actually marked Alejandro's in first down territory, so they mark it at the 48, 1st and 10. Flags everywhere is movement on both sides of the ball. Give was to Beltran up the middle, but we'll check the flag first as he got no gain on that play.
It looks like both sides jumped on that one. I'm not sure who they're going to call it on, but they're pointing. Now they're picking. No.
They confused you there, Gino. The referee was ready to walk it backwards towards Santa Cruz, but the other official signaled offsides on Solano. So
well, I'm easy to confuse, Joel. It's no big mystery. But, yeah, that's another big break. So now we're moving into their territory. Looks like they're starting to get a little roll going. You see Santa Cruz is trying to make something happen on offense. And a couple more quick passes from Wade that are complete. Definitely going to be a confidence booster for him. Maybe they'll try to take a couple shots deeper down the field.
Clock winds inside. 5 minutes to go, first quarter. Ball at the 47-yard line of Solano. 1st and 5 for the Spirit. 3 receivers set. Santos Garcia, the deep back now behind Wallace. Again, movement on the line. Give is to Garcia. Shakes, tries to dive across, and it's a fumble. Fumble at midfield by Santos Garcia, picked up by Solano, but we'll check the flag.
I don't see a flag.
There
I don't think they
is no
threw a
flag.
flag. No, that was not a good call. I'd have to see a replay on that, but it looked like the Chiefs player was definitely in the neutral zone, if not touching the offensive player. But I don't see a flag, and the play continued, and Santos unfortunately got the ball stripped, and here we go, back again. Here comes the red team back on the field.
Unfortunate break for the Spirit there, and quarterback Wade Wallace argues his case. He was looking for 2 calls there. One was, as you said, Gino, perhaps encroachment on the defense, and then a few of the players saying that perhaps Garcia was down when he fumbled. But either way, another tough break for the Spirit. They already trail 16-0, and now Solano takes over just short of midfield with an offense that has been unstoppable to this point. Huge point in the game early here for the Santa Cruz defense. They've got to stop this offense, get their offense back on the field here. Otherwise, it could be a long day for Santa Cruz.
Well, this is the time to do it right here at midfield. They're going to have to stop them here, Joel.
Looked like the quarterback wanted to pitch it, ends up keeping it, sweeps right side, and he's wrapped up and thrown down by who else? 99, Lamar Thomas. So a good play on first down for the Spirit defense. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, fortunately, there's a mix-up in the Chiefs' backfield, and Hansen created a little havoc early. And there's the man, Lamar Brooks, coming all the way across the field, racing him down. Now, we've seen him play 3 games. If you haven't seen him before, he's a big guy. Not real tall, but he's a house. But he's quicker than you think. I mean, I just watched him run down the quarterback from across the field, and that was some pretty good pursuit, some pretty good quickness. So that's a good spark for him. He's usually one spark in the team anyway, so that'll get him going a little bit.
Brooks stands 5'11", weighs 296 according to the roster, and he's from North Salinas. So impressive early here on the defensive side of the ball is Lamar Brooks. Pitches to Casiglio right side. He's chased down and dragged down by D. Adams. After a short gain, they'll give him 3 yards into Santa Cruz territory, but that'll set up a 3rd and 7.
Nice play by D. Adams from the safety spot. Looked like he read the play early and just tracked him all the way to the sidelines and made the tackle and pushed him out of bounds. So 2 good plays in a row for the defense. Maybe something starting here, Joel. We'll get a little game going here. A little offense, defense. Looks like they can definitely compete with the Chiefs. I'm not seeing them getting blown out. I mean, obviously we've seen their offense take definitely control of the game, but that can stop in a hurry with just a couple good defensive stops.
Ball at the 48 of Santa Cruz. 3rd and 7. Solano taking a bit longer in their huddle this time as they brought in 3 new players. Their backfield now consists of Howard Berry, a linebacker, and another linebacker as well. Back deep to pass. He's double covered and it's picked. No, it's not picked off. Number 1, Richard Torres was all over it. Pass intended for Mauricio Davis, who just got here, as Gino mentioned, one of the late arrivers. And the double team was there. Torres came up from the safety spot and almost had himself a pick.
Yeah, that was right in his arms, unfortunately. It looked like one of 2 players, either the Chiefs player or the other Spirit's DB, kind of blocked his vision. But good coverage, good coverage. Here we go again, though. Joe got 4th and long. Well, not too long, 4th and about 8. They don't have a punter, but it looks like they're lining somebody back there.
Yeah, Gino, they've got Joe Beecham back there to punt, but we've seen how he's a threat to run. We'll see. No, he does kick it, and it's not bad. Garcia's back deep for Santa Cruz. He lets it bounce, and it's downed by Solano at the 25-yard line. So great job by the Spirit defense. 3 and out. They force a punt. Offense comes back onto the field with 3.5 to go, trailing 16-0.
Well, that's what they needed right there. They needed to stop. 3 plays and out. They got their stop. They made them punt. Not a bad punt by Beecham, but him in the backfield, getting the ball at any time is dangerous. They got to watch for that fake punt later on. But they got decent field position, 25-yard line. Let's see if they can put something together like they started to last time. Keep their defense off the field and give the Spirit defense a rest so they can, regroup, and things are looking better.
3 receivers for quarterback Wade Wallace, tight end Robert Harrington on the line. Again, movement on the Solano line. They try and go up the middle. Play is stuffed for little to no gain, and again, no flag. So Solano is just getting back, it appears, avoiding these penalties.
Yeah, well, actually, Wade dropped the ball from the center that time, so that was the reasoning for that pile up in the middle. That's a couple times he hasn't gotten the ball cleanly, but, he's still working on that, I'm sure. Must be tough coming out every week and not really having a lot of practice and trying to perform at any kind of a high level when you're not taking the consistent amount of snaps. Usually even in high school, you're practicing every day, whereas obviously this is an adult league and there's work and families and everything else, so you don't get that chance to be on the field all the time.
And as we told you last time, Wade is a football veteran, but he's not a quarterback veteran. He's used to playing tight end. Throws one up for grabs there. Intended receiver Alejandrez. Joe Love was all over it, though. Love playing both ways for the short man Chiefs, and if anyone was going to catch it, it would have been Love, as he had Alejandrez beat by a step.
But he had time to throw, which is a positive, and actually that wasn't a bad throw. Love just had great coverage. What I did see on that play, though, is they sent the wide receiver deep, but they released the tight end over the middle, and he was wide open. We've been saying all game, the Chiefs have been putting their linebackers real tight on the line. That time they released the tight end wide open over the middle. I hope they can go back and see that. Someone saw it on the sideline. Maybe they can hit him for a big gain.
3rd and 10 now. Santa Cruz ball at their own 25. They split Harrington, the tight end, out wide left, so 4 receivers for Wallace. Lone back is Beltran. Wade rolls left. He set up a screen, but no one's out there. And they're going to call it a lateral? No, they do finally call it an incomplete pass. There was a question there as if he had thrown it behind him. It would have been a lateral, and yet another score for Solano, so that's a big break.
I think that was a lateral, to tell you the truth. I'm looking at the yard marker, and where Love picked it up was a few yards past that, so that's a questionable call. Definitely in the favor of the Spirit right there, because that was 6.
And Gino, turmoil on the Santa Cruz side of the ball. Beltran not happy with that pass and that play call. Wallace not happy with what happened. Appears as if there's some internal bickering going on here as Beltran tosses his helmet and walks down by himself on the left side of the sideline here. Hands on his hips, clearly in disgust. And Wallace and Beltran getting into it here. You know, this is not good on the left side.
Yeah, I don't know. It's obviously there was a mishap on that play. You know, Wade's throwing the screen, and must have been for Beltran. I don't know what their plays are all about and how they're supposed to be designed and ran, but definitely some confusion. So hopefully Coach Clark can straighten that out before they get back on the field.
Back to punt. It's Santos Garcia again. He gets off a good one. He kicks it away from Beecham. Ball fielded by the up back, and they lateral to Beecham. He's got room up the left side. Across the 40, the 30. He's going to go in untouched. Joe Beecham off the lateral play. Oh, my. Just like that. 22-0 Solano. They're all over the Spirit here. Disheartening start to this game. 22-0, 2:20 to go. They've done it with the run. They've done it with the pass. Now they do it on special teams.
Yeah, they're doing it with everything, and it's just wide open. You know, actually the ball went right in the hands of the Chiefs. I believe that was Tony Red, who's been their running back that's been running for yards. We had him tackled. He turns around. There's Beecham. He throws him the ball, and he's gone. There wasn't a person on the sidelines. And I don't know if you can fault the punt team because you think you got a guy wrapped up, so you go to converge on the tackle, and you're not really paying attention. You know, it's tough to tell what the guy's thinking. But they made a great play. The Chiefs made a great play, and another six-pack, and Spirit are down early once again.
All kinds of stuff going on the sidelines here, Gino. Most of it not fit for broadcast.
Yeah, halftime couldn't come too soon here.
2-point play now for Solano, and Lamar Brooks is there to stuff it. So finally, Lamar's still playing hard. He's out there still talking and trying to make things happen. He stops the 2-point play, so the score remains Solano 22, Santa Cruz nothing. And frustration is set in early here as Rich Bourgeon sits by himself. He got into it with Robert Harrington, Gino, during that timeout. All kinds of things going on. And if you go back to that last play, I think it was a screen originally set up for Beltran because the whole line released, which is why Wallace was under so much pressure, but somehow they missed the assignment, or Wade didn't throw it in the right place. But, yeah, just not in sync are the Spirit today.
Yeah, you're right. It was definitely a screen. I mean, that's why Wade was backpedaling for his life. I'm not sure he wanted to throw it where he threw it, but there was no lateral call, so it worked out for him. Somehow that triggered a major controversy on the sidelines. Everyone's walking around yelling and screaming, and that's not what needs to be happening right here. Fortunately, Hanson and Brooks are making some stops to keep them in the game here because it's 22. It's still the first quarter. I've seen worse. We watched Redwood City come out and dominate, but there was definitely times when we could have gotten right back in the game.
Another short sideways kick by the Solano running back, taken by Santos Garcia. He tries to get outside, gets a block, and he sprints towards the 40. 45, he's finally taken down. A nice return by Santos Garcia, so perhaps that'll spark the Spirit. Brought down by number 62, Jared Sherrod for Solano, but a nice return there off a short kick. So again, excellent field position for the Santa Cruz offense as they trail 22-0, ball at their own 45.
That was a nice play. That was a great block from Emmanuel Perez, I believe it was. Santos came across the field, and he needed one block, and he got it. I'm pretty sure it was Perez who opened that lane up for him, and he took advantage of it. So nice start, good kickoff return, a little spark back in the team. They're calling a team huddle. See what this is all about. I hope it's not what we saw last time when there was, you know, trash talking and fighting and a penalty on every play. Must have been the longest game we've ever broadcast, and you don't want to see that. You don't want to watch it. You don't want to hear it. There's lots of kids and family here. You know, if they're looking at their uncles and dads and cousins playing this, and that's something that they're going to do later on, this is not the way that it should be played. So fortunately, they're taking care of it right now.
Coach Clark calling timeout here, and he is all over his team. A vocal, demonstrative speech there as he's jumping all over his team. The part I caught, Gino, is he said, hey, if you're here and you're not hurt, if you're suited up, you're out here to play, and you got to start playing. So perhaps that's a message to a couple of the guys here that are suited up but haven't been in the game.
Well, he's right. I mean,
spark you can give the team with that speech.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and he's right, I think. You know, you come out here and you give your all, and you're working every day and trying to take care of business at home. You come out here. I mean, why not? You know, you're out here for a reason. You're not here to watch or sit on the sidelines. I mean, I wouldn't want to come out and spend a lot of time and away from my family and risk injury and everything else not to come out and give it your all. So hopefully Clark got that message across.
3 receivers set and another timeout, this time called by the officials. But it's 3 receivers for Wade Wallace. Lone back behind him, Anastasio Beltran. And Gino, perhaps Rich Bourgeon got the message of that speech as he's now gotten up off the bench and is standing next to Coach Clark. So maybe he wants to get in there now. 3 receivers, as I said, 1st and 10, Santa Cruz ball at their own 45. Beltran goes right up the middle, goes nowhere. He's met and drilled by number 97, Dave Bennett. No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, straight dive. They got to keep working that though. I believe there is some potential there because Chiefs, the whole line and backers are always right on the ball. If you get one block, if you turn somebody's shoulders right at the line of scrimmage and he gets through the hole, it's a big gain. And then you could work the tight end, you could work your screens, you could work your down and in. There's a lot of things that can happen after just getting a couple positive gains on the running game.
2nd and 10. Again, it's 3 receivers, and again, it's Beltran behind Wallace. Blitz is threatened. Beltran runs off the right side, falls forward for about 3 yards. So it'll be 3rd and 7. And again, Coach Clark screaming at someone to do their job as we wind toward a minute to go first quarter.
You didn't like somebody blocking there. I thought I heard if they're going to run over your butt, go home. But, boy, I wouldn't want my coach yelling at me like that. So, good tactic from Coach Clark. He's trying to fire up his team early. He's right. He's got to do it now. I mean, down 22 to a team that's had no problem scoring on any side of the ball. He's definitely got to get them fired up now and get their butts going, like you said.
And they have had great field position here, folks. That hasn't been a problem. They've started all of their drives at least at their own 35, and 2 of them have started at their 45. Wallace on a quick slant. He's got Alejandro. It's a great catch. He gets it across midfield to about the 48. It'll be just short of a first down. It'll be about 4th and 3 coming up here. As the first quarter clock winds down, we're inside 15 seconds to go. So I'm assuming they'll let the clock run out and then make a decision whether to go for it here. I'm assuming they will, down 22-0.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose. I like that play. That's the 2nd time they've run that play, and the 2nd time it's been successful. Nice catch by Alejandro. It was kind of a high throw, but he went up and got it, and he's not a real tall wide receiver. So things are happening, you know, a couple running plays, a couple passing plays. They don't look like they're that disorganized on offense. The Chiefs are definitely making them, you know, earn every yard because they're making some good tackles. Just need to get a couple blocks and a couple big plays to keep the Chiefs honest. Once you show that you can get some yardage and make a couple plays, they can't afford to bring their backers every time. But up 22-0, they can take some chances, and they've done that, and it's paid off.
That's the end of the first quarter, folks, with the score Solano 22, Santa Cruz nothing. Second quarter will begin shortly. Back for the second quarter here from San Lorenzo Valley High School field. Santa Cruz has the ball, 4th and 3. They trail 22-0, and it appears as if Santos Garcia will punt here. Deep back is Joe Beecham. It's a fake. Garcia looks to make the pass. He throws it, but no one's home. Looked like they had the play set up well, but the intended receiver, Robert Harrington, wasn't even looking for the ball. It appeared to be a good pass by Garcia, but as I said, no one was looking for it. So turnover, Santa Cruz. It'll be Solano ball at the Santa Cruz 48.
Actually, Joe, you know what that was? Is he threw it short. You know who was supposed to get that ball? It was Bourgeon. He was right in the middle of the field. He turned around. The ball skipped in front of him. He was wide open. First time we've seen him on the field. And I think Santos just missed him because I see him discussing it now. When I looked up, he was the only wide receiver I saw in the area. But he was open. A nice play. Can't lose. You're at the 50-yard line down 22. You got to take some chances. And we know Coach Clark will take a chance.
Yeah, well, if Bourgeon was the intended receiver, I didn't see him. I thought Harrington was the closest. Either way, didn't work. First play for Solano is a give to Tony Red. He falls across midfield into Santa Cruz territory. Short gain. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, I see Derek Lee, or I'm sorry, Maurice Lee getting fired up. He was in there on that tackle, so that's a good sign. We haven't called Will Lesner's name a whole lot, and he's usually in on every play. So if we can get Lee and Lesnar going on the linebacker side, with Hansen and Brooks taking care of the line, some good things can happen over there for the Spirit.
Solano with Joe Love split right, Joe Beecham split left. The two Joes here for Solano have done huge amounts of damage early. Big reason Solano leads 22-0. Santa Cruz blitzes. They've got a flag down. The give was to number 34. That's Howard Berry. He got little to no gain. He was brought down by the whole Spirit defense. Maurice Lee, one of those in there, along with 00 Emmanuel Perez. And we'll check the flag.
Illegal procedure, I believe was a preliminary call. I see the Chiefs backpedaling, so that's a good sign for the Spirit.
And they will back them up 5 yards, so it'll be 2nd and 14. Ball marked just inside the Solano 45. So it appears as if the defense is waking up a little bit. They got the stop, the 3-and-out last time, and unfortunately the punt team broke down and gave up that touchdown. But defensively, the Spirit appear to be awakening here, and none too soon for Coach Clark. Four-man front for the Spirit. They threaten a blitz, and another false start again on the left side of the line. So Damon Hansen wreaking havoc on that side of the ball. He drew number 72, Jason Knowles. He got him to jump, so we'll back him up 5 more yards. It'll be 2nd and 19 now.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Hansen gave him a little quick shimmy and drew him off and kind of pointed at him like, I gotcha. And we know Hansen's a huge guy, but Knowles, he must be about 6'7", 270, huh? He looks like he's pretty tall. But Hansen, I'm sure, has got the more athletic ability there, as we've seen so far. He's pretty much been on every play. So if he can get in his head as well as beat him physically, could have a good game out there for Hansen.
Yeah, the down, now the Spirit defense realizing that the down marker was changed. It should be 2nd down. And they're and we're hearing it all here, folks.
That's coming out of their crowd. That was pretty loud.
That was good. That was impressive. Vocal cords there shown by the Solano
we
side.
We won't repeat what he said, but I think he's actually right, because both penalties were on 1st down.
No, I think that they had one running play. That they got their first running play. It was a 2-yard gain, and then they had 2 penalties.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so I was right. I haven't lost it yet. 2nd and 19 here. Ball marked just inside the 40 now. So Solano continues to back up. We'll see if the Spirit can get a turnover here. Back to pass is Thompson. He's got room. Rolls right. All alone. He finally tries to go to the up back. Oh, my! Caught. Number 40, Will Lentner, had a shot at the interception. It finally went into the hands of Mauricio Davis, and just as he turned to go upfield, he was hammered. And despite that big hit, Gino, another missed interception, that time by Lensner.
Yeah, you're right. He missed the interception, but I'm not sure who's that. Davis wanted to catch it because D. Adams absolutely leveled him. He caught it, turned around, and he was on his back. Nice hit by Adams, but a great catch by Davis. It's unfortunate that that's what, 2 interceptions now they've had in their hands. That could have, oh, and we got a penalty too, so that's not good. This must be a personal foul of some type.
Personal foul or taunting. Perhaps Adams was so happy with that hit that he pointed or said something that the refs didn't want to hear. So 15 yards, as you said, unfortunate break. They still didn't have 1st down yardage there. It was 2nd and 19.
Personal foul, according to the official. We don't know of what sort, but that's a big turnaround. 2 penalties to back them up, and then a nice catch and a 15-yard to tack on. That's too bad.
3rd and 8 becomes 1st and 10, so the situation is what made that so tough. They still had a long ways to go. Almost into the backfield was Lensner, and he gets plenty of help. Maurice Lee, Damon Hansen, Lamar Thomas, all there to greet the running back, and when we unpile all those numbers that are falling on him, we'll tell you who it was. That was number 29, Brent Casiglio, who just got hammered.
He got squished. That was a great play. They brought the whole team on that one. Spirit blitz, both backers blitz. The linemen got in there at the same time, so they lost 2 or 3 on that one.
Loss of 2, ball at the 37-yard line of Santa Cruz. It'll be 2nd and 12. Split backs behind the quarterback, Thompson. The Joes are split wide. Love left, Beecham right, and yet another penalty. Again, it's a false start. No, they're going to get encroachment that time on the Spirit defense. So I could have sworn it was another false start, but the ref saw something we didn't. So 2nd and 12 becomes 2nd and 7.
Well, that's interesting because the Spirit jumped, but 2 of the Chiefs took off running. So I'm not sure how that works out, but didn't work out well for Santa Cruz, obviously.
Unable to get untracked here are the Santa Cruz Spirit on every facet of the game. They're struggling here, and it's reflected in the score. They trail 22-0. 2nd and 7. Thompson's back. He goes deep, double coverage, and a one-handed catch. Incredible by Joe Beecham as he hauls it in with one hand. Jerry Rice, Randy Moss have nothing on that guy.
That was amazing. That was amazing because Jamil Vaughn was all over him. From my vantage point, all I saw was an arm come out of 2 players, and the ball was caught by Beecham. That was an incredible play.
That looked like a bug that got caught in a spider web. That ball just sucked into the hand of Joe Beecham. As you said, Gino, his hand just kind of came out of that
Vaughn was all over him.
And sucked in the ball. Incredible catch.
Vaughn was all over him. That was just a great catch. You can do nothing about that.
Probably the best catch we've seen all year. We saw Jamil Vaughn catch one early in the first game of the season, but nothing compared to what Joe Beecham just did. Ball at the 5-yard line, 1st and goal. Give is to Casiglio. He's running off the left side. Boy. He runs over number 1, I believe, for the Spirit. That's Richard Torres on his way into the end zone. Steamrolling is Brent Casiglio, and just like that, it's 28-0.
Yeah, well, Casiglio made up for the last time he got drilled because he just ran over about 4 Santa Cruz players and had no trouble getting into the end zone. That's not going to look good on the films. You don't want to be in film day when that comes up.
28-0 the score. 11:16 to go first half. And as we've told you throughout, Solano shorthanded. They don't have a kicker. So again, they'll go for the 2-point conversion. And that's just silly, folks. It's getting ugly early. Maurice Lee that time just literally ran into the backfield of Solano trying to get a jump on the play. And this is just, it's already, Gino, showing a lack of discipline and all those other things.
Yeah. The Chiefs have definitely got the advantage here. They've been going on a lot of quick counts all day. And then every once in a while they throw, a go on 2 or a go on 3. And Santa Cruz is guessing, and they're guessing wrong, unfortunately, at this point. So they need to settle down a little bit.
3 backs behind the quarterback, Thompson. They'll go for 2. Thompson on a rollout is going to try and keep it and sprint to the end zone, but he's cut down by Richard Torres. So Torres, who got steamrolled on the touchdown.
He made it, though.
Make it in, Gino? I apologize.
It was a good play by Torres.
He
came up.
Great play.
Yeah, he was one-on-one, and he made the tackle, but his momentum took him into the end zone. So
tough to see the line on that side of the field from up here, so I apologize.
I was just fortunate to see the official put his hands up. There's no reason why I knew.
So despite Torres' efforts, they go for not as it's now 30-0 Solano. They have taken the heart right out of this Santa Cruz sideline already. And this will be a long afternoon. This will be a test of the Santa Cruz spirit because they really don't have much of a chance of coming back here from what we've seen.
Yeah, their defense is guessing. Once in a while they guess right and send and blitz, and they're stopping them. Then there's a couple penalties. Big play, Beecham makes a big play, makes a great catch. That's got to kill you mentally. So, things just aren't going well all the way around. They make a couple stops, personal foul, 15 yards, first down, great catch, touchdown. It's just one thing after another. They can't string any kind of momentum together. They've only done it once. Am I correct? A 3-and-out has only happened once so far in the first half.
30-0 the score. Santos Garcia and D. Adams back deep for the Spirit. And again, it's a linebacker for Solano kicking, Daryl Lenore. We'll see what he can do this time. It's a little squib kick. It'll bounce all the way back. Garcia overruns it. Someone's got to pick it up, guys. That's a live ball. Garcia finally does, and he's quickly brought down. So a breakdown on special teams now. We've seen it on punt coverage. We've seen it now on the kick return. They're just not doing anything right. Ball inside their own 20 at the 18.
Well, two things I'm seeing right now, Joel. Now that ball just went by 4 guys, and no one wanted to take it. I don't know if they're not supposed to touch it and it's supposed to get back to Santos, but it went by him too, and you know how fired up he is. He'll take anything. And here's the other thing I see. Guess who's going to the game? 44, Bourgeon. First time we've seen him all day.
And
so
Gino,
we'll this maybe it'll make a difference. Who knows?
Well, Gino, as I saw him running in there, he was clearly limping, so his hand, as Coach Clark told us, is not a factor, but he could have something going on in the lower body because he was clearly limping as he came in. But as you said, we'll see what he can do, and he's got a uniform on, so he should be expected to play. 4 receivers for Wade Wallace, lone back Bourgeon. Santa Cruz ball at their own 18. Give us to Bourgeon. He hits the whole right side. He's cut down at about the 25, but that's a 7-yard gain.
Legs look pretty good there. He came off the ball in a hurry, and like I said, one block. Somebody makes one little block. You turn the defensive guy, and he gets through it. We know how hard it is for him to get tackled. We've seen it all year. Maybe this is a little momentum swing. See what Coach Clark's got up his sleeve for this drive.
2nd and 3. Bourgeon got 7. Ball at the 25-yard line as we wind down towards 10 minutes to go, first half. Tight end Robert Harrington stays on the line, so 3 receivers for Wallace. Bourgeon remains in the backfield. And again, it's to Bourgeon, left side this time. He spins away, breaks the tackle towards midfield. He straight arms another tackler, and he's finally brought down just short of midfield. Rich Bourgeon, where have you been?
Yeah, see, that's unfortunately what the other backs don't give the Spirit is that initial contact. Bourgeon got stuck at the line, but the size and his strength, he bounced right off and gained 20 more yards before someone, neck-tied him to get him down. The other guys just aren't that strong, and unfortunately, and it's nothing they can do about it, but they just don't have that immediate pop. And too bad Bourgeon's coming out of the game. So there must be something going on there because he does look like he's hobbling a little bit, but looked pretty darn good on that play, Joel.
Bourgeon on one leg is better than most on 2. He got 22 yards on that game. Ball at the 47-yard line. And suddenly there's a different body language on the Spirit side of the ball. Beltran replaces Bourgeon in the backfield, 3 receivers again. Wallace looked like he's going to keep it on the left side across midfield. Past the 45, brought down at the 44. 9-yard gain on the keeper for Wade Wallace. It'll be 2nd and 1.
Not a bad play. This isn't De La Paz. He's not as fragile as Wallace. You can afford to have Wade run the ball. He's a big, strong kid, and he can take a little bit more beating, and that's what Clark's done. He told us he's going to show us a little more with Wade today, and that's taking advantage of somebody that's a big, strong quarterback just like that. He got by the initial tackler. And we've known Wade most of our life, and we know he's got no problem taking a couple hits. So another little twist in the Santa Cruz offense. That's working.
4 receivers now. Wallace on a quick slant. He's got Gagiri for first down yardage and more. He sprints to the sideline. He's pushed out of bounds at the 35 of Solano. Another first down for the Spirit and another confidence booster for quarterback Wade Wallace as he hits Gagiri, and they're moving it now.
3 in a row, Joe. I like it. A little momentum, never hurt. And like you said, body language. Spirit looks like they got some more spirit back in them and picking it up, the momentum and the pace and the intensity a little bit. If they can get a score, it's going to make a big difference.
Injured player for Santa Cruz.
That's Gagiri.
That is Gagiri. As he got hit pretty hard, what happened, Gino, that I saw was it appeared as if the man who tackled him, Joe Beecham, sort of might have even been guilty of a face mask as he appeared to pull him from the neck. Don't know if that's what's hurting.
Got poked in the eye maybe because he keeps to be grabbing that area, but
yeah, I saw Beecham's hands up around his face, so We'll take a timeout here with the clock at 8:21 to go first half. Santa Cruz trails 30-0, but they're moving. They've got a 1st and 10 at the 35. We'll be back to see what they do in just a moment. David Gagiri trots off the field under his own power. Whatever the injury, not serious, clearly. He'll be back in there shortly. So Santa Cruz with momentum. They don't want to see the clock stop now. They're ready to go and run their next play as their offense is on a bit of a roll here. They trail 30-0. 8:10 to go first half. They've got the ball at the 35-yard line. Quarterback Wade Wallace has 4 receivers to choose from, including Jamil Vaughn, the defensive back. So we'll see if Jamil can get open. He and Beecham renewing their rivalry on both sides of the ball now. Wallace scrambles. He creates room. He lobs one up. Beltran was open, just overthrowing him is Wallace, who's disgusted with himself. He had Beltran wide open. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10.
But that's okay. You know, you let Wade scramble. He's tall enough. When he's running, he can see the receivers. He saw the receiver, just a little bit too much touch on there, just overthrew him. But there was an open receiver. You know, I mean, as long as there's someone to throw to, he could see him. That's the good thing about being 6'4". You know, it looks like Coach Clark's starting to open up the offense with him a little more, and I think Wade will respond to that, being the kind of guy that we know he is. You know, give him the opportunity, and he'll try to take it. So.
And limping back in is Rich Bourgeon, so we'll see what he does. And Wade's going to call timeout here. Didn't like the play call, so with 7:07 to go, timeout on the field. Santa Cruz trails 30-0.
Another thing I see, Joel, is I believe it's Santos on the sideline with an ice pack on his shoulder, so he could have got a bad stinger, bruised shoulder, separated shoulder, something, and we know he's punter, kick returner, punt returner, offense, defense type of a guy. He's one that they can't really afford to lose at this point. So we'll see how that injury pans out.
And Gino, another thing that I'm seeing on the Santa Cruz side of the ball here on offense that we saw in the first ever game here a while back, we see Jamil Vaughn lining up at wide receiver, and he's clearly, as we've mentioned numerous times, the best defensive back out here, but he showed some signs in that first game that we did here of being a threat offensively, and Coach Clark's going to try and get him open here perhaps, and again, he's working against Joe Beecham, who's having to play both ways.
Well, it's payback time. You know, Beecham made that great catch, so I think Jamal wants a little opportunity to see if he can come up with something here down near the end zone. So we'll see what happens. Good matchup both ways.
Vaughn split wide right. Torres and McLemore split left for Wade Wallace. Rich Bourgeon, the lone back behind him. 2nd and 10, ball at the 35 of Solano. Wallace again on a keeper, straight arms one man, tries to run over a second, he does, before being forced out of bounds. So an impressive run there by Wade Wallace, the former tight end, showing some of his running skills there. He picks up some yards. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Yeah, nice straight arm by Wade. He got a couple more yards. I'm not sure what that was. It looked like a bootleg, but I'm not sure if it was, because he had Vaughn to that side, and he sent him deep against Beecham. I think he was trying to go there, but just didn't, come to the short side of the field, didn't have a lot of room to work with. So he made something out of nothing. Nice play by Wade.
And a good sign for Santa Cruz is David Gagiri is quickly back into the lineup. So whatever
Bourgeon's definitely limping, Joel. He just came back off, and they must be picking and choosing how many plays he gets in there just to see if they can use him in spot plays through the game. He's definitely limping.
Gagiri comes wide right with Harrington and Torres. McLemore split left. Wallace in the shotgun, Beltran with him. Wallace on the rollback. He's looking to set up a screen. It goes to Beltran, the intended receiver, but instead it's picked off by the linebacker, Kurt Passetti, and he could go all the way. One man to beat is Wallace. Wade dives and is blocked. Touchdown for the linebacker, Passetti. And just like that, it's 36-0. Passetti dances on the Spirit grave there in the end zone, gets a flag for it, but I'm sure he doesn't care. They are having fun on that side of the ball, and now they've scored defensively, Gino.
Again. Oh, that was a punt return, sorry. Screen was there, it was developed. Didn't know how much yards they're going to gain, but poor Wade overthrew Beltran once again and right into the hands of the linebacker, and He did a good job getting to the end zone. Wade tried valiantly, but he got blocked there and got drilled. So getting ugly quick, as they say.
And as you said, Gino, a bit overthrown, but I'm not sure Beltran was looking for the pass. That may have been Beltran's fault as much as Wallace's, just because of the fact that if he's looking for it, perhaps he can jump up and deflect the pass and keep it from being intercepted. But by the time he turned, it was already in the hands of the linebacker and he was running the other way. So, again, he's talking it out with Wade here on the sidelines, trying to get things sorted out. But
well, at least they're talking this time. Last time it was, you go to your side, I don't want to talk to you. So at least they're mature enough to straighten things out, and hopefully they'll get it straightened out. So I think that play will work. The Chiefs are pretty aggressive, and, you know, with them blitzing and coming most of the time on defense, that play's going to work if they can just time it right. So,
because of that taunting celebration penalty, the two-point conversion by Solano will take place from the 17-yard line.
I just heard that Santos popped his shoulder out. He came over to the crowd and said that he popped his shoulder. I don't see him getting his pads back on, so that's not a good sign. I've never had that injury, so I don't know how fast recovery you can come from there.
Play action pass. Thompson tries to scramble out of trouble, and he's successful. He's still got the ball. He's going to throw it up for grabs. Ball is knocked away, incomplete, so two-point conversion unsuccessful. Pretty moot at this point with 6:43 to go first half. Solano 36, Santa Cruz nothing.
And you can't give your DBs that much time to have to cover somebody. Thompson's pretty shifty back there. He ran around and made it happen. The way we've seen so far, that could have been a completion, no problem, but fortunately they didn't get it. So helps the pain a little bit, Joel. Not a whole lot, but a little bit.
A demoralized Santa Cruz sideline here as they all just sit on the bench, shoulders slumped, heads bowed. As you said, Gino, injuries. They didn't have Richard Atkinson to start the game with a bad toe. Kelvin Nivens is clearly injured. We haven't seen him in there at all. And now the guys that are playing, like Bourgeon, is a bit shaken up. Now, as you said, Garcia. Of course, they lost De La Paz for the year, so not getting a lot of breaks, the Spirit. And
yeah, when you have your key guys getting injured, you got to make shifts. And, you know, just like Solano's had to make shifts. Fortunately, they've done it well. They didn't bring a whole lot of guys, but linebackers are playing fullback and halfback, and those are the kind of positions you can get away with. It's the defensive side, I think, the DBs, the linemen that make a big difference, and Santa Cruz has lost a couple of those.
With Garcia out of there with injury, it's number 12, Raymond Paris, who takes the ball. He's got D. Adams in front of him. Paris runs right side, breaks a tackle, breaks two, stays on his feet. Jukes and jives his way past the 35 to the 37, so Raymond Paris gets an opportunity and takes advantage. Nice return for Santa Cruz.
Yeah, it didn't look like he wanted to pick up the ball at first, but it looks like he knows what to do with it after he picks it up. So I believe he's a DB.
He's actually a linebacker, Gino, 5'9", 210. They've got him listed as a linebacker, but...
well, size isn't everything, but I've seen him out on the corner trying to cover Love. Not a whole lot of success, but he did a great job there filling in for Garcia there on the kickoff.
Rich Bourgeon in the huddle now for Santa Cruz. They've got the ball at their own 37. Clock winds towards 6 minutes to go first half. 4 receivers again for Wallace: Harrington, Gagiri, Torres, and McLemore. Quick hit up the middle, Wade on a keeper. Gets about 3 yards, so that was just set up between he and the center, Emmanuel Perez, trying to catch Solano off guard. They got 3 yards.
Yeah, 3 yards is 3 yards. It's a little touch play where, you know, only, like you said, Wade and the center know what's happening. He gives them a little pat, and they hike it and go. No one else knows what's going on. Usually try to catch the defense that's aggressive like the Chiefs are, you know, asleep and get a little bit more. But, hey, we'll take 3 yards at this point. Just keep the defense off the field.
So 2nd and 7, ball at the 40. Again, it's Bourgeon and the same set of receivers for Wallace. 6-man front for Solano. Gives to Bourgeon. Breaks one tackle. Falls forward to about the 44-yard line. Gain of 4. So it'll be 3rd and short for Santa Cruz. 5 minutes to go first half.
Well, they're successful with Bourgeon. Too bad he's hurt, or else we've seen probably every play, because he's had positive yardage on every play he's been in so far. the 3rd and short. He's still in the game. See if they give it to him or see what Coach Clark wants to do here.
Ball at the 44 of Santa Cruz. Borjan remains in the game. The officials calling a timeout here. They still hadn't gotten the kicking tee off the field from the kickoff, so.
Well, the way today's going, Santa Cruz would have had a pass right there and tripped over the tee and fell, an interception, and a touchdown. Circus, but good job, official.
3 receivers now. Harrington stays in to block. Borjan behind Wallace. 8 men in the box for Solano. Fake to Borjan. Wade is just overwhelmed by the rush. Number 31, that's Darnell Leonore, and number 57, Danny McCoy, all over the quarterback that time. Tough break again for the Spirit.
Yeah, they were doing a little trickery. Obviously, with Borjan in there, I think the Chiefs think the ball's going to him, and I saw 2 of the Spirit wide receivers set left. They're actually open because it was 2-on-1. Love was the only guy out there with both receivers. So if Wade had any time to throw across the field, it could have been a good thing, but there was no time there. They were all coming.
3rd and 3 becomes 4th and 13 as they lost 10 on the play. So they're going to go for it. Ball marked at the 32. They need to get to the 46. And confusion again on the sideline. They're not sure who's supposed to be in, what the play is. And of course now, Gino, with Garcia out, who's going to punt? I don't think they have a punter, so that'll just give them a chance to keep working on their offense because they don't have anyone to punt now.
Well, I saw Beltran go in like he might punt, and then he came back out when they decided to go for it. Now Wade's in the shotgun, so they're definitely going for it unless he pooch kicks or something. But
5 receivers as Torres and Borjan anchor the line. Harrington split wide. Wallace looks like he's rolling out left. He's got room. Looks to throw. No, he fakes it. He still got it. Tries to fall forward. He does past the 30 to about the 32. So another frustrating sequence for the Spirit. 2:45 to go. First half. They're going to have to turn it over on down.
Yeah, it looked like Wade got up like, where were you? Like someone was supposed to be there, but once again, you know, the continuity with the offense on not only with Wade's part, but other guys working with Wade on the offense, feeling comfortable. You know, it's like a pitcher with a catcher. Some guys only like to throw to certain guys. There's got to be some kind of comfort zone there when you're a wide receiver. You know what your quarterback's going to do. We always hear Jerry Rice, all the top receivers always talking about, you know, when my quarterback gets in trouble, I know where he's going to go. I can feel him. I know what's going to happen. And obviously there's none of that going on right now. You know, Wade gets up in frustration, looking where are you? You know, but it can only get better, I hope. We hope. We think. We'll see.
Solano with the ball at the Santa Cruz 33. Give us to the up back. That's one of their linebackers. I believe that was Kurt Passetti who got the carry that time. Little to no gain. He was brought down quickly by Shea Ackerley. So it'll be 2nd short Solano as we wind inside 2 minutes to go first half.
The funny thing is we keep saying little or no gain, but it's 4 or 5 yards a pop. You know, that interior offensive line of the Chiefs is doing a heck of a job just opening up enough space for those, well, now they're linebackers playing running back, so they can bowl their way in there. And that's, you're right, that was Passetti. He's the guy who ran this back to the interception, so we know he can run.
3-yard gain, ball at the 28. Thompson keeps, rolls around. He didn't have anywhere to go. He's finally brought down by Damon Hanson, along with
that's Shane Ackerley got in there.
again. So no gain that time, literally no gain. They're right back at the 30-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and 7. Clock winds towards a minute to go first half, and will be the quickest minute for Santa Cruz, they hope. They want to get into the locker room and make some adjustments. If nothing has gone right for them, they trail 36-0. Thompson keeps it. Quick slant over the middle, and the closest man was the defensive back for Santa Cruz, Richard Torres. Pass ball's incomplete. It'll be 4th and 7. Clock stops, 56 seconds to go.
That's the first time this whole half they've actually blown a play where it hasn't gone right or there was a mix-up. You know, I mean, they've been tight. They've been tight all game. And you only bring 15 to 17 guys, you've got to be tight. But unfortunately, 4th down, they have to stop them here. They cannot let them score going into the half.
3 receivers for Solano as they're in the shotgun. They put Stacy Thompson in the shotgun. He's got 2 big linebackers in front of him. We'll see where he decides to go. He's looking left to Love, and he's got him. Joe Love with a first down catch. The ball at the 21-yard line. They needed to reach the 23, so 1st and 10 Solano, a 4th down conversion. And they move forward 49 seconds to go first half.
Once again, Joel, 4th down's killing Santa Cruz. I think they've converted almost every 4th down today. And they're going back to Love. And actually, Paris made a great play. I mean, he was on him. He made the tackle. It was just too far down the field.
Ball at the 21. Clock winds towards 30 seconds to go. Thompson again looks to pass. He goes right side towards Beecham. But instead of Beecham, it's Mauricio Davis who stepped in front and made the touchdown catch. Take your pick. Either one of them could have had a touchdown there. Either way, it's 42-0 Solano.
And there was 3 Santa Cruz defenders there and 2 Solano Chiefs. It's just one of those days, Joel. It's just not going right anywhere, anyhow, for Santa Cruz. You're right. That ball was intended for Beecham, and Mauricio Davis stepped up and said it's my turn because he got here late. He wanted a little piece of the pie. That's not good for Santa Cruz. 30 seconds to go. They give up another score. You can't be feeling too strong going into halftime down 42-0.
You know it's bad, Gino, when one guy is picking off his teammates for a touchdown. As you said, both guys could have caught that. It was just take your pick. And Davis acted as a DB and intercepted it from Beecham. 2-point conversion, no good that time.
Yeah, they stopped him. That's good.
Ackerley and Maurice Lee in on the stop. So with 31 seconds to go, it's 42-0 Solano. And what's scary, as we said, folks, they've only got 17 of their 44-man roster here. If they were at full strength, who knows what would be happening. But
see the other 30 guys they got on their team. These guys are doing a hell of a job. They've definitely been there before because they are comfortable and clicking on all cylinders on both sides of the ball. Kicking game, they've made every 4th down. It hasn't even been really close. 4th and long, 4th and short, they've converted. Their offense has definitely played together for a while, at least practiced together on a regular basis. They're running their big linebackers in there at halfback and fullback. They're gaining yardage. Thompson's running around, having plenty of time to throw the ball, which is not a good thing for the DBs of Santa Cruz. You can't have that much time. That's all working for the Chiefs, and nothing's going right for Santa Cruz.
Well, D. Adams is back deep for Santa Cruz. I'd like to see him get a shot at a return. I don't think he has today. Despite all of these scores, it's been either an up back or Garcia, or even the last time Raymond Paris got to return one. So let's give D a shot here and see if he can make something happen. He's got 31 seconds, and the kick is going to go to Adams, so we'll see what he can do. Oh, and he takes a knee. Apparently at this level, you can't, once your knee is down, that's it. So a microcosm of the half right there. D. Adams wide open, and he takes a knee to catch it, and he has to stop there.
Yeah, you got your wish for him getting the ball, but for some reason he didn't step up and catch it on the run. And there's that, I believe that's a college and a high school rule. When your knee's down, it's dead at that point. So.
Yep. So ball marked at the 15. Santa Cruz has 23 seconds to go to end this half. I don't know if they have a mercy rule in this league, Gino, but Coach Clark wrote the rules. He may want to rewrite the rule book here.
Yeah, they just need to get in the halftime half healthy and with some kind of
perhaps we'll get
mental
to see,
toughness left.
Perhaps we'll get to see the debut of Alex Corrado in the second half. Gino.
AC?
The tight end out of Santa Cruz High, a fellow Cardinal. We'd like to see him get some play. He's been in on special teams, but not yet at tight end. Wallace takes a knee, so he doesn't want to take any more punishment. And the clock will wind down to end the first half, unless they try and run another play. They'd be silly to at this point. And they will smartly let it expire. So, 30 minutes of football in the books. It's been all Solano to this point, folks. The Chiefs, with a 4-2 record, only 17 of their 44 players are here. It has not mattered. They go into locker room with a 42-0 lead over Santa Cruz. Second half in just a moment. All right. Back for the start of the second half here from San Lorenzo Valley High School field, where the Santa Cruz Spirit trail the Solano Chiefs by a score of 42-0. Joel Domhoff alongside Gino Panelli. Second half just about ready to get underway. It'll be Santa Cruz ball to open the half, so hey, that's a positive sign.
There you have it. Positive. And I see Alex Corrado on the field, a newcomer. We know we lost one player.
And the deep kick is to D. Adams, so he's going to get a chance to return here. Takes it at the 20. Picks up a block, goes right side, tries to get outside and does. 30, 35, 40. Cuts back to the 45. One man to beat outside past midfield. 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Forced out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. What a return for D. Adams.
That's one way to open up the second half, JD, huh? A little love there from D. Adams, as he's now known. Great return. They set it up. He went from one side to the other and did his job there. Let's see if they can take that out there on the field on their offense and put it into the end zone.
He started at his own 15. He got it down to the Solano 17. So you do the math. All I know is it's a good, long, impressive run, as Gino said, to open this half. So Santa Cruz will try and get on the scoreboard here. Great run.
Earlier, Joel, we saw Beltran leave the game during halftime. Don't know whether it's injury or commitment or what, but that leaves Bourgeon to start. We know he's injured. We didn't get the capacity of his injury, but he has been hobbling, but he is out on the field giving it a go now.
And with Garcia out as well, it's Bourgeon or bust at this point. 4 receivers for quarterback Wade Wallace. Gives to Bourgeon left side. Breaks one tackle. Hurdles a second, and he's going in for the touchdown. Rich Bourgeon has put him on the board.
Didn't look injured on that play, did he? Broke a tackle and hurdled Joe Beecham, although I don't know if that was going to be much of a match for Beecham to bring him down, but maybe to stop him. But he hurdled him and went in, and there 2 plays. Hey, this looks familiar, huh? This is what the Chiefs did to the Spirit in the first half, so maybe they could turn it around.
Impressive run by Rich Bourgeon. As you said, he didn't look hobbled there, as he broke one tackle, and Beecham did the smart thing, try and cut him low, but Bourgeon saw it coming, showed us some nimble feet there, hurdled him, made it into the end zone. So it's 42-6. They'll go for 2. All keyed, of course, by the huge return by D. Adams.
You know, the Spirit, they don't have a kicker either, so in this situation, we're going to see them go for 2 all day, which they should anyway, being down 6 touchdowns or whatever it is.
3 receivers, Bourgeon the lone back. Wallace on a keeper left side. He tries to sprint. He dives for the line, and he gets it. Wade Wallace on a keeper, and it's 42-8, just like that. 8 points in 28 seconds for Santa Cruz. Great way to open the half.
Yeah, it's a great start for Santa Cruz. Wade took it around the corner by himself. Looks a little shaken up, picking some grass off his helmet, but nothing new for him the last couple of games. But looks to be a little shaken up. He came down hard when he dove into the end zone.
And a great shot from our cameraman there, Gino, as you say, the close-up of Wade Wallace, picking the grass off of his helmet, and clearly shaken up. But we've mentioned throughout these last 2 telecasts that Wade Wallace is a newcomer to the position of quarterback, but not a newcomer to the game of football. He played throughout his high school career at Santa Cruz High, went on to play in college, was a tight end at San Diego State. So he has a nose for the goal line, as he showed there. He was able to dive low and beat the defender to the line. So that was an impressive play on his part.
Yeah, he's definitely got football instinct. So that will show as things develop. Hopefully he'll be okay. He looks like he's sitting on the bench taking a breather now, which is good. Get the defense out there, and I'll see if the defense can come up big here and get 3 and out so we can get the offense back on. They seem to get a little momentum. Some things clicking with Bourgeon out there. And hopefully we'll have a much better second half than we did the first.
And kicking off for Santa Cruz, we haven't seen this since the game started because, of course, they were shut out. But it's defensive lineman Damon Hansen handling the kickoff duties with Jose Romero not here today. Decent kick from Hansen, fielded by Joe Beecham, the star for Solano at the 15. Jake jukes and jives across the 25-30, run out of bounds at about the 34-yard line. So good job by the Santa Cruz special teams. Anytime Beecham doesn't score, you've done a good job.
Yeah, what's the line? You can only hope to contain them or not stop them or something like that. I don't know, basketball verbiage or something, but they held them. That was a good thing, and now they don't have the greatest of field position, which is a good thing too. So the defense, hopefully they regrouped in the locker room during halftime, and they're going to bring their A game that we've been seeing, win or loss all year. Really, that always seems to be the positive of the Santa Cruz team in the end of the game, whether they've won or lost, has been the play of their defense. So we'll see if they can step it up a little bit as the offense has done to start the second half.
Again, the matchup we've featured throughout this game, it's Joe Beecham, considered the best receiver in the league, against Jamil Vaughn, considered the best defender. Handoff on first down, fumble, ball still loose, finally picked up by the quarterback, Stacy Thompson. The running back on the play, Brent Casiglio, was drilled by Will Lenzner, Damon Hanson, among others, and they forced that fumble. It was finally picked up, but a good start to the second half for Santa Cruz.
Well, there you have it, Joel. We are always, usually in every telecast that we've done together, calling Lenzner's name constantly on defense. He's always been around the ball, got a nose for the ball. He's always in on the tackle. This is, I think, the second time in this game we've called his number, and that was a great play. He hit that hole and stuffed the running back to cause that fumble. Unfortunately, Santa Cruz couldn't come up with it, but it knocked him back a good 8-10 yards to put him in, second and very long. So good start there for Santa Cruz, and Chiefs took a timeout to regroup. So things are looking much, much better already in the second half for Santa Cruz.
Loss of 9 on the play, ball marked at the Solano 25, so they've got a 2nd and 19 upcoming. And as we've mentioned, folks, Solano only has 17 of their 44-man roster here. And the running back that time was Brent Casiglio, who's listed as a defensive back. So perhaps the lack of experience there, not knowing how to hold onto a ball when hit, was shown there as he was drilled, as we said, by Lenzner, and the fumble was forced. But unfortunately for Santa Cruz, Stacy Thompson, the quarterback, was all over it. Nonetheless, a 9-yard loss and a big play for the defense. 14:03 to go, third quarter, and it's a reverse to Beecham. He's got a man out in front of him. The big lineman is blocking, but D. Adams reads the block well and forces Beecham out of bounds. Great job by D. Adams. A gain of perhaps a yard, if that. So again, if Beecham doesn't score, they've done their job, and great play by Adams.
Well, you know who made that play? It was number 91, Shea Ackerley, the left defensive lineman. He saw it coming. He stayed home. He didn't rush up the field and chase the ball around the corner. He stayed home, and he made Beecham stay horizontal to the line and go to the outside, which gave the DBs a chance to come up and make him go out of bounds. So nice play by Shea Ackerley there.
No gain on the play, so it's 3rd and 19, and these are the plays that killed Santa Cruz in the first half. Thompson out of the shotgun, back to pass. High pass intended for Beecham, knocked down by Jamil Vaughn. So Vaughn wins the matchup that time, and it's 4th and 19.
Well, there's our key matchup of the game right there, and Vaughn won that one. We saw earlier Beecham making that great one-handed catch for the touchdown earlier in the game, although blanketed by Vaughn, and there's Vaughn coming across the middle and making a great stop, leaving 4th and long. Like we said earlier, Beecham is now punting, and when he puts the ball in his hands, you never know. So they really gotta guard against the fake at any time with him, just because he's so dangerous.
Beecham with the impressive first half. Back deep to receive for Santa Cruz because of the injury to Santos Garcia is D. Adams, who just returned that kickoff so brilliantly. And Beecham may have a negative kick here as he kicks it straight up and it bounces back. Just as I had predicted, I thought that would be one of those short punts once I saw it go straight up. And sure enough, that's about a 6-yard punt for Beecham. So Santa Cruz with excellent field position. They'll take over at the Solano 31.
Yeah, that guy's human, I guess, huh? He can't punt. He do everything else. Actually, he had a pretty good punt in the first half. That punt didn't even get him back to the original line of scrimmage where they started their offense. So great opportunity for Santa Cruz here to punch another one in. And as we can see, Joel, they're huddling up on the sidelines. They're definitely into the game here. So that was a big opening drive for them to come out with some big things, and hopefully they can keep it going here in the second half.
4 receivers for Wade Wallace. Rich Bourgeon, the lone back. Santa Cruz ball. Bourgeon on the quick hit. He's hit once, but bounces outside. Tries to get outside. Wallace out there to throw a block as well. No gain, perhaps a loss of a yard on the play, but even when he loses yardage, Gino, he punishes the defense.
Yeah, no, you can't. I think it's very difficult to tackle him one-on-one. Because I know the first game we watched, Joel, he was a high runner, what I've seen, what I like to call a high runner. He grabs the ball and he's straight up coming through the line. He did fumble a couple times when we saw that earlier. Now, obviously, he's going in low, and if you hit him anywhere above the waist, you're not. I don't think you're going to stop him. And that was a perfect example. He hit the line, bounced off a tackler, bounced to the outside, and was eventually caught for the no gain. But he's a pretty powerful runner.
And, Gino, that first half was one for the Dogs from the Santa Cruz side of the ball. And just to demonstrate that, there's a dog on the field, as you just saw, but he's now off the field. And Santa Cruz, meanwhile, has a 2nd and 11. Wallace on a rollout. He tries to get away, but can't. He tripped up on the blitz from the linebacker, Danny McCoy. So a big loss there. It appears as if he had Torres and Gagiri out in front of him, plus room to run. So a tough break for Santa Cruz. It'll bring up 3rd and long.
Yeah, that was a rollout pass play, and unfortunately they brought the backer and they rolled right into him. He was in touch coming through the line, so tough play for Santa Cruz. But they're still on this side of the field. They still got good field position. A couple plays, they can get down there and at least force Solano to start from a bad position. That's all you can ask for in this kind of a situation.
3rd and 20, the situation here. Ball at the 41. They need to reach the 21. And Wallace now in the shotgun. 4 receivers. Bourgeon is the lone back there with him, and now he steps up into the slot. Wallace out of the shotgun, has a bit of time, gets off a deep pass. Contact, but no penalty called as the tight end, Robert Harrington, looked to release to catch that pass, and he was bumped. Should have been a penalty. Tough break for Santa Cruz.
Yeah, it looks like tight end Harrington was trying to break free and got tangled up with number 29, Casiglio there, and no one reached their flags. I mean, to me, it seemed to be obstructing his path to the ball, but that's the officials on the field. That's their call, and Santa Cruz didn't get it that time. So,
one play I always see called in the NFL, Gino, is they judge whether the pass was catchable, and certainly in that case, I don't think it was, so that may have been their interpretation, but either way, a tough break for Santa Cruz, and as we said, no punter. Their normal punter, Jose Romero, not here at all today. Their backup punter, Santos Garcia, was here but was injured in the first half. So at this level, folks, we don't have third stringers, which means Wade Wallace is going to go for it on 4th and 20. Out of the shotgun, he rolls left right into the path of a defender, but he escapes. Throws deep. He's got a man downfield, but he overthrows Henry Torres. Wallace upset with himself because Torres appeared to be open. But Santa Cruz will turn it over on downs. Tough sequence there for the offense.
Yeah, Santos actually did a smart job. He was one-on-one with the DB, who I think is a linebacker. I'm not sure because they're playing multiple positions. But as Wade was rolling, he broke free of him, but I think it was in the middle of Wade's arm going back and throwing because Wade threw towards him when Santos went to the left. It actually made himself open. So tough play both ways. That was going to be a tough completion, I think, either way. But
yeah, that was Henry Torres, the intended receiver there. And as we said, he was open, but tough, as you said, Gino, with the lack of experience and playing time for Wallace, the communication not there. Solano ball, they're going to go deep on 1st down. They go outside to Joe Love. Pass underthrown, but he comes back to get it in front of the defense of Raymond Paris. So just like that, Solano's offense picks up where it left off. 1st and 10 at the 31, and a big gain there. 19 and 9 is 28 yards.
Yeah, well, you know what they're doing with Love. He's bigger than Beecham, so when Beecham goes up against Jamal Vaughn, it's more evenly matched. Love looks like he's tall. He looks like he's about 6'2", 6'3", and he's going against the Santa Cruz smaller DBs. They're basically just throwing it. They're throwing it up, kind of like a Randy Moss type of play. Go up and get it or come back and get it. They're giving him the opportunity just to get the ball in his hands.
1st and 10, pitches to Casiglio right side. He's got room, gets through, but he's finally cut down as a nice hustling play by number 23, Dave Phillips, along with Jamil Vaughn and Maurice Lee over there. but Phillips got there first to cut down a potentially big play. Instead of big yardage, he got 5, 2nd and 5. Second and 5, the situation. Ball at the 26 of Santa Cruz. Clock winds towards 10 minutes to go, third quarter. Santa Cruz trails 42-8. But if you're just joining us, folks, it was 42-0 at halftime. So the third quarter, a new ball game from the Santa Cruz perspective. Ball put on the ground by Thompson, but he quickly picks it up, tries to get outside, but Damon Hansen was there to greet him. Still got a couple yards out of it. It'll be 3rd and about 4.
That was a nice adjustment by Thompson. He fumbled the snap, picked it up, and took off. Fortunately, Hansen was there to corral him, so they didn't get too much. And now we have another 3rd down situation. If we can hold him here, it's going to force him to go for it again on 4th down. So that'll be a good thing for the Spirit defense at this point.
And if you have just joined us, we mentioned it was 42-0, now 42-8. Also of note, Solano only has 17 players here today out of a 44-man roster. They do not have a place kicker, so everything is essentially a 4-down possession for them on offense. Thompson fakes and sweeps left. He's got a man in front of him. He's going to get the 1st down and more. He gets inside the 20, inside the 15 to about the 13. 1st and 10, Solano.
Yeah, that looked like it was shaping up to be some kind of an option because there was a tailback trailing Thompson the whole way. It looked like he just kind of hid behind his big line and followed them to a 1st down and got some good yardage on that. So that was a nice play to string out the defense and take advantage of Thompson's quickness.
They'll actually mark Thompson down at the 14-yard line. So 1st and 10 for Solano as they seek to regain control here, although it's certainly not out of control. But Santa Cruz had opened with some big momentum. Solano looks to take it right back. Thompson on a keeper up the middle, quarterback draw. Looks to get a block, and he is unsuccessful as Santa Cruz sniffed it out. A multitude of defenders in on that play, including Shea Ackerley and Maurice Lee and Damon Hansen. So a good job by the Spirit defense that time to stop Thompson from scoring there.
Yeah, Thompson actually fooled his offensive lineman because it was going to be a pass, and they were pass blocking. He decided to take off, and they didn't really know where he was, so they didn't get an opportunity to block anybody. So good thing for the Santa Cruz defense is no gain on that one.
Right you are, Gino. No gain exactly. Actually, now they're going to give him a yard. So it'll be 2nd and 9. Ball at the 13 of Santa Cruz. Split backs behind Stacy Thompson. Give us to the up back. That's a big linebacker, and he's drilled by Hansen and Lamar Thomas, who comes out of there with the ball. But a great job by Lamar and Damon Hansen and Maurice Lee. It'll bring up 3rd and long. Big Lamar Thomas sniffing out that play. No gain for Stacy Thompson, so it's now 3rd and 9 for Solano. They've got their superstar receiver Joe Beecham split right, one-on-one against Jamil Vaughn. 3 backs. Actually, no, they're in a shotgun and 2 backs. Thompson looks right side. He's got a man open. That's Mauricio Davis. He breaks one tackle and gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Solano. Mauricio Davis with an impressive catch and run. A missed tackle on the Santa Cruz side of the ball.
Yeah, D. Adams missed that tackle, and that was the play. I mean, once again, Thompson had time to throw, and he found his open man. And one missed tackle, that was a touchdown. It's tough to recover. It's a tough break for Santa Cruz because they had such a good drive on offense, and they were actually starting to get a little bit of momentum on defense. And then a couple big plays, and that seems to be the whole theme for Solano today. A couple big plays, gets them right where they want to be, and they take advantage of it.
And a well-designed play, too, Gino, as they sent Beecham deep on the right side, and that cleared it out for Davis to run underneath. So a well-designed play, a well-executed play, and we've got a penalty before they can attempt the 2-point conversion. It's an offsides on Solano, so the 2-point conversion, which usually is attempted from the 3, will be attempted from the 8. Solano leading 48-8. 7:11 to go, third quarter. And if you have just joined us, Santa Cruz got a win via a forfeit last week, so their record now is 3-3. They're in the playoffs. This game will determine seedings, though, so it's an important one. Thompson on the pass. He's got a man open, but it's dropped incomplete, so the two-point conversion is unsuccessful. And with 7:11 to go, it's Solano 48, Santa Cruz 8. And we'll see what Wade Wallace and the offense can do here, and we'll see what D. Adams can do on the kickoff return. He returned a big one to open the half, and he certainly will have some revenge on his mind after he missed that tackle to give up the touchdown here.
Yeah, they got to keep their momentum going, what little they have at this point, and they came out strong, as you said, to open the half. Big kick return, nice running by Bourgeon. They got to keep that spark, or else it's going to really be an ugly second half, because Solano really hasn't slowed down very much on offense. They seem to be able to do what they want to do, although there was some definite better play on Santa Cruz's defense so far this second half. So they got to stay on track. They got to keep that spark. Everyone's off the bench, as you can see, Joel. They're on the sidelines. They're walking around. They're talking to each other. We haven't seen any bickering yet, so that's a good thing. So if they can sustain that intensity and make this a game, I think win or lose, you know, you got to come out of it with some positives. And this second half going a lot better than the first will definitely allow that to happen.
Especially with a game next week upcoming against Alameda, I believe, which will be just as important as this one for Santa Cruz as far as seedings. If they can secure the 4th seed, they would host a playoff game. Currently, I believe they're the 3rd seed, but this will drop them, so we'll keep an eye on that. Kick out of bounds, so that'll be a penalty. I believe it'll be marked at the 35 or 40-yard line of Solano, so good field position for Santa Cruz. And Santa Cruz has the option. I think they're going to make them re-kick it here. They want to return one. They don't want to take the ball at the 35. They want to give D. Adams a chance to take it to the house.
Well, it's kind of funny because they got D. Adams way back about the 5 or 10-yard line, and I haven't seen the Solano kicker come close to that except for a bounce and a roll. So might want to move D up a little bit to take advantage of a short kick.
Well, depending on how short this kick is, your man AC, Alex Corrado, stands as one of the upbacks at the 40-yard line. So if we squib one here, maybe Alex can get a touch. Also deep for Santa Cruz is Richard Torres, or not deep, but part of this upback quartet of Richard Torres, Raymond Paris, and Henry Torres. There's a low squibber that could reach Adams, but instead it's taken by Paris to the upback. He goes left side, across the 35, 40, 45, gets a nice block up to midfield. So the second impressive return for Raymond Paris gives Santa Cruz good field position, 6:54 to go, third quarter. They'll have the ball at midfield. They trail 48-8.
Yeah, it was a nice play. He waited for the hole to open there. He waited for his blockers, and he exploded through it. Actually, D. Adams was trailing. I thought he might be thinking about pitching it back, as I heard D. yelling pitch. Obviously, he wants the ball again, but didn't work. But they're at midfield. They got good field position. You know, they come back out and keep doing what they were doing the first couple series, and they should be able to move the ball a little bit here. You got to see if the fatigue factor comes into effect at all with Solano. Although their defense hasn't been on the field a whole lot, still a lot of these guys are still going both ways. So we'll see how that plays.
Certainly, Casiglio is out there. We've seen him on both sides. The receivers, Joe Beecham and Joe Love are out there. So we'll see. 3 receivers plus Bourgeon. He gets it. He falls across the 45 to about the 44. 6-yard gain for Rich Bourgeon. Second and short, Santa Cruz.
Well, that seems to be one play that's been working all day. Sorry, not all day. In the second half, at least, since Bourgeon's been in the game. Like we said, he's been injured the last couple weeks, according to Coach Clark. So that's why we haven't seen him get the ball very much. But now with Beltran gone for the day, Santos Garcia out, like you mentioned earlier, he's really their only option left. So he's given it a definitely cardinal effort here, playing with injury and playing well with injury.
Alex Corrado into the game at tight end for Santa Cruz. He's on the right side of the line. 3 receivers for Wallace. And again, it's the quick play with the center, and Wallace has got huge yardage across the 35 to about the 31. So again, Emmanuel Perez, the center, and Wade Wallace doing their thing. And Wade, as we've told you, was a former tight end. He knows how to run hard, and he ran so hard that time he pummeled one of the Solano players that tried to tackle him. So an injury on the field here, and an impressive play for Wallace.
Yeah, that was that hidden play or secret play or silent play. That's the word I'm looking for. Silent play, where he taps the center, and those are the only two guys that know what's going on. And it worked a little bit in the first half for 3 or 4 yards. And that one was a big gain, but unfortunately there is a Solano player down, and he looks pretty injured, Joel. There's a nice group of them around trying to figure out what's happening. They immediately called out the trainer, and the rest of the team is looking quite concerned at this point.
12-yard gain for Wallace. Ball at the 32 for Solano. So when we resume play, great field position for Santa Cruz, but of more immediate concern, we don't want to see anyone out here injured seriously, certainly. And as you said, Gino, a big huddle around the injured Solano player, including some Santa Cruz players. Damon Hansen and Maurice Lee are out there. And we believe the injury is to Danny McCoy, number 57, the linebacker, or the defensive lineman, excuse me. So we'll hope it's nothing serious here.
Yeah, plus, like we've said all game, playing with 17, 18 players, they definitely can't afford to lose anybody, and we don't want to see anybody get hurt. As you know, Joel, no one's getting paid out there. They all got to wake up and go to work on Tuesday here, being a 3-day weekend, and that's tough. That's tough when you practice sparingly during the week, come out and give it your all. And he's getting up. That's a great thing. So.
And a nice round of applause from both sides of the ball here as the Spirit showing their sportsmanship and applauding. That is number 57, Danny McCoy. So he's walking on his own power. He appears to be woozy. So perhaps it was a head or neck or something. We're not
like he
sure.
might have hyperextended his knee. He was kind of backpedaling as Wade was moving forward, and looked like he might have stepped wrong and either hyperextended his knee or possibly rolled his ankle while backpedaling, because there is some good chuck holes out there in the field, so that's always a possibility. Something like that could have happened.
All right, back to the action now. 6:03 to go, third quarter. 3 receivers for Wade Wallace. Lone back is Bourgeon. It's 1st and 10 at the Solano 32. 7 men in the box for Solano. Bourgeon up the middle, across the 30 to the 29. He hit the hole hard and got about 3 yards.
Yeah, another trap. Good, nice little trap play there. Bourgeon line up on the left side. Trap blocked down. The Chiefs really are aggressive. They're sending their backers. Their DBs are either up tight on the receivers or in the box, as we say, being in the front of the line or right around the line of scrimmage. And that's the first time they've released that tight end over the middle. Unfortunately, he's a big target. Wade threw it up there. He went up and caught it, and they gained some positive yardage. So it was a nice play there. They recognized that opening there, and they took advantage of it.
Same setup here. Wallace in the shotgun on 3rd and 6. 3 receivers to choose from. He rolls right side, looks for a man. No one open. Scrambles to buy more time. Throws one up. Harrington's out there. Ball knocked away. A good defensive play by Tony Red. Harrington was open. Wallace floated it up to no avail, so that'll bring up a 4th and 6. A nice play, though, by Wade Wallace to buy time, and he put up a pretty good throw, Gino.
Yeah, well, he was scrambling for his life to the far sideline. In the meantime, Harrington recognized that, and being the tight end, he had a little slant pattern, but he took off deep. It was actually open. Wade made a perfect pass. It was a great pass. It was right in his hands, but as you said, Red recovered quickly and made a nice recovery and knocked it away for incompletion.
And Gino, a big break here. Pass interference called on Solano. So that should be an automatic first down for Santa Cruz. Big break there. We'll see how they mark it off.
Yeah, it's interesting because it didn't look like it, but
I think they called it away from the ball.
Okay,
when Wade
that makes sense.
Tried to make a completion over here on the left side. One of the receivers couldn't break away, so pass interference, automatic first down, ball at the 16 of Solano. So now it's 3 receivers for Wallace, Corrado in there at tight end, Bourgeon the lone back. Gagiri, Torres, and McLemore the receivers for Wade. Quick snap, Wallace rolls out, he's got pressure from the left side, he gets a pass up, but too far Torres was out there along with McLemore, so again, a pretty decent play. They couldn't quite complete it, but Wade got rid of it in time, and Torres was out there along with McLemore.
Yeah, I mean, at least, we've been saying this whole year, once again, he's tall. Wade's tall, and he can see over the line. Even when he's scrambling, he's got that advantage of seeing his receivers downfield. And that was the case right there. He scrambled a little bit, was getting pressure from his backside, didn't take the hit, which is another good thing for Wade and for the Spirit, because I don't know who their quarterback's going to be after that. But there were some receivers there, and Wade throwing the ball in an area, trying to give him a chance to at least come down with it. You got to take some chances here, and that's what they're doing.
Same setup, 3 receivers, Bourgeon the lone back, Harrington back in, Corrado out. And a timeout called by Wade Wallace. He didn't like the defensive formation that he saw. So smartly, I believe, calls timeout rather than run a play he doesn't feel comfortable with. Call the timeout and reset yourself. And that's what Wade did. Hey, this gives us a chance again, folks, to thank the people that have made this production possible. Our producer and director today, as always, doing a fabulous job. That's Will Anderson. Camera people, Roger Ewell, Patrick Chose, and Jan Janes. Our audio man is Dan Edler. Technical assistance provided by Angel Ayala. So those people we thank immensely for their work on today's broadcast, helping to bring this to you on community television. With 4:06 to go, third quarter, it's 48-8. Solano with the lead, but Santa Cruz driving. They got a break here in this drive on a pass interference penalty, and they're going to try and take advantage of that here. They've got a 2nd and 10 at the 16 of Solano. What do you look for out of the timeout here, Gino?
Well, I don't know. Wade obviously didn't like that play. I don't know why, not comfortable with it or whatnot, but they're sending the receivers out. 2nd down, I'd like to see him maybe pump in Bourgeon for a few more yards to get close, and then try that tight end over the middle again.
Bourgeon stands behind Wallace. 3 receiver set. Fake to Bourgeon, play action. Wallace looks over the middle, pass tip, but it didn't matter. Harrington still brought it down. So a nice job of concentrating there by tight end Robert Harrington. Pass was tipped at the line, but he still caught it. And they're going to mark it down at about the 7-yard line, so I believe it'll be 3rd and short. Great play on both ends there.
Yeah, well, they did the tight end play, a play before I thought they might, but good thinking there. He's been open all day. He really has. And unfortunately, he's coming off limping. Robert Harrington, the tight end, is limping. He twisted his ankle there, so they're sending Corrado in there as his replacement. But 3rd and very short, so I got to think they got to power Bourgeon in the middle here for at least the 1st down.
And Gino, will see if that affects the running game. Harrington 6'4", 250. Corrado is back up 5'11", 180. May affect the blocking scheme here. Give is to Bourgeon, right side. He's got room. He tries to get outside. He breaks the tackle, sprints to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown. Rich Bourgeon has had a huge 3rd quarter. And the score now 48-14.
Well, that's just good running by Bourgeon. That was meant for a dive to get the 1st down, I really believe. And he saw it, saw the hole wasn't there, and popped it to the outside. And the cornerback out there, Joe Love, he's been having a heck of a game all day, but you just cannot try to tackle Bourgeon around the shoulder pads, no matter how big you are. And that's exactly what he tried to do, and he threw him off like a rag doll and walked into the end zone. So nice recognition by Bourgeon there. You can see he's developing as a runner. As we've said in the past, I don't think he played any organized football until maybe now, or maybe once or twice in high school, but as far as we know, nothing real serious, and he's really developed his eyes, really. They always say the eyes of the running back make a big difference, and you could see it right there. Saw there was no hole and popped to the outside for a touchdown.
Good news for Santa Cruz. Harrington back in here on the 2-point attempt. Bourgeon the lone back. Again, 3 receivers for Wallace. Whoa! Wallace draws him offside, and he didn't like what happened that time, as the defender for Solano jumped off sides, and now we get an unsportsmanlike penalty on top of it. I believe that's number 97, Dave Bennett, who jumped the line and ended up throwing Wallace to the ground. Wade took offense, and who can blame him? So we'll get a penalty here for unsportsmanlike conduct. So the momentum's starting to change here, Gino. It's not necessarily going to result in a win, but certainly it's, as you said, a confidence booster for Santa Cruz on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, as you and I talked about during halftime, they're in playoff contention. They're going for seeding, and obviously this is going to hurt them if they lose, but if they do, in fact, still make the playoffs, they need some positive outlook coming out of this game. They cannot lay down, and they have not laid down. To me, I'm watching the body language. I'm watching these guys on the bench. The first half, there was a lot of bickering. They were looking at each other like, it's your fault. What are you doing? You know, that whole frustration factor that sets in when you're getting drilled by another team all through a first half. It seems to me like they've kind of conceded, okay, we might not win this game, but let's go out and let's show them that we're still competitive, that we can play. And I think it's relaxed them to almost concede the win, but to make a good show of themselves. And, they're playing relaxed. Their defense is playing better. Their offense is definitely playing better. There's no bickering on the sidelines. Everyone's calm and relaxed. So good things came out of the halftime session. Whatever happened, happened well.
The unsportsmanlike penalty moves the ball only half the distance. So from the 3, it goes to the 1.5. Santa Cruz needs 1.5 yards to get 2 points here. Borjan behind Wallace. Fake to Borjan, reverse to Torres, and he's drilled. They sniffed it out that time, number 52, 62. Or did I have it right the first time? 62 is Jared Sherrod for Solano, so he threw Torres down. 2-pointer unsuccessful. Score now, Solano 48, Santa Cruz 14, 2:58 to go, third quarter.
Not necessarily a bad play. If you had a chance or see this telecast, you'll see that there's 3 players lined up directly over Borjan, 2 linebackers and DB. So they obviously think Borjan's getting the ball, so they weren't going to let him have any room. So not a bad play, a little deception, run the guy around the outside, but 62, Sherrod, he smelled it out and made that not work whatsoever.
Torres, one of the smallest players on the Spirit roster. He's listed at 5'8". I'd bet some money that he isn't even that tall. He's also 155 pounds out of SoCal, and he didn't have much room to work with there as the big defensive lineman sniffed it out, as we said. So back to kick for the third time now will be Damon Hansen. Big number 8 for Santa Cruz, getting a chance to show us his versatility here.
He's actually done a pretty good job kicking today. No shanks yet. Both of them have been downfield. So that's a good thing. And then they got a backup kicker. They might even maybe they'll let him do an extra point here later on. Can't hurt.
And the dangerous Joe Beecham stands deep along with Brent Casiglio, the defensive back for Solano. So we'll see what happens here. 48-14 the score. And it's an onside kick, a not very good one. Hansen tried his best, but number 55, Clay Younger, the offensive lineman for Solano, was all over it like it was a meat sandwich. And
I think so Hansen's the only one who thought there was an onside kick there because it looked like he kicked it, and no one else was running towards the ball. So I think he fooled his team too. But in any case,
he fooled himself.
Yeah. In any case, you got to try something, I guess.
He's having fun out there. Remember, Damon Hansen, we thought wouldn't even play last week or 2 weeks ago when we were broadcasting here. And according to the initial prognosis, he wouldn't even have been playing today. They said he'd be out 4 to 6 weeks. He was back in 1. Shea Ackerley with a big sack here to open the possession. Number 91 just swallows up Stacy Thompson, throws him for a loss. So again, the Spirit defense coming alive, and Lamar Brooks over there demonstrating as well. So,
well, you know, when Lamar starts talking, they're going to have some fun regardless. And we've seen in the past, as soon as Lamar gets going, as soon as the team gets going, whether it's mentally or physically or whatnot. But that was a great play by Ackerley. He just bull rushed and he went straight for the quarterback and got him for a nice loss. So defense has definitely stepped up their game in the second half.
Ball was at the 47 after that unsuccessful onside attempt. It's now at the 43 after that sack, so a loss of 4. Second and 14. Thompson now in the shotgun. Both the Joes, Beecham and Love, split left side. Thompson's got time. He goes left side, and another one-handed attempt by Beecham. This time He was draped by Jamil Vaughn all over him, and despite that contact, Beecham still almost made the catch.
Yeah, I think Jamal got away with the little one there as he was running over to cover Beecham. He kind of grabbed him by the jersey and turned him. Still made a great play. You know, he's definitely been on Beecham all day. He hasn't got burnt and recovered and knocked the ball away. But he got away with one, but they need a break. You know, Santa Cruz needs those kinds of breaks. 3rd and long, they can hold them, get the offense back on the field. They just need to make this a respectable outing, you know, and it's getting there. Definitely getting there.
Yeah, if you're looking for little signs from the Coach Clark perspective, it's 14-6 in the second half. Santa Cruz with the lead. 3rd and 14. Again, it's Thompson out of the shotgun. Looks deep. He's going to Beecham again, and he caught it despite the defense of Vaughn, and he'll go in untouched. I don't know how he caught it. I don't know how they didn't deflect it. Somehow the ball made its way into the arms of Joe Beecham, and again, he celebrates in the end zone for, what is that, the 3rd or perhaps even the 4th time today, and it's now 54-14 Solano.
Yeah, that guy's just a magnet. He's like Velcro. I mean, they threw it up there, and Vaughn was all over him again. Looks like Vaughn jumped, but Beecham stayed on the ground and then jumped a little late and somehow came up with the ball, and you're not going to catch him once he catches it. But poor Jamil Vaughn, you know, looking at the stat lines, there's no way you're going to be able to judge this game because he's had actually a really good game against Beecham. He's just come up with some spectacular plays.
Yeah, all the credit there just goes to Beecham. Tip your cap and say congratulations. Not much more Vaughn could have done other than mugging him, really, to stop that play from happening. 2-point attempt now. They go to Consiglio left side on a sweep. And again, it's a nice play by Richard Torres to drag him out of bounds. So Torres on these 2-point attempts has been all over it. That time he stopped him, so unsuccessful there. The score remains 54-14. 1:39 to go, 3rd quarter.
Yeah, you got to imagine, Joel, if we took away 3 or 4 of these big plays, which has definitely happened, and you had Beecham with a one-handed terrific catch for a touchdown. You had that last touchdown where he made an adjustment, made another great catch. You had his punt return, which was actually a lateral back for a return. And you have the interception for a touchdown. You're talking 28 points, and it's a different ball game. I mean, really, 4 or 5 plays have really summed up this whole game, because I don't think Santa Cruz is playing that bad. It's just that one big play on 3rd or 4th down that they can't stop, and that's just been breaking their back all day.
You're right, Gino. That first half featured some 4th down conversions for Solano, which were real backbreakers, not only on the scoreboard, but just demoralizing to the spirit of the Spirit. And as a result, we've got this lopsided score now. D. Adams back deep. He's had one long one, but a squib kick. And AC's got it. Alex Corrado breaks one tackle across midfield. So there's your man, Gino, out of Santa Cruz High School. Alex Corrado. And he's got a little fan club here below us. So he did a good job to pick that up, as he had a sea of red ready to just pummel him, and he actually eluded one tackler and got some positive yardage out of it.
That was actually pretty funny, because the kicker for the Chiefs kicked the ground and then the tee and then the ball, and he's limping. I think he might have hurt his ankle on that. And Big AC, our Cardinal alum, got the ball and got a little bit of yardage. So it's good to see AC get a little action here. And obviously, like you said, he brought his own fan club, so they're rooting and tooting already. Then they take him out of the game, so you know how that goes.
We'll give Alex 4 yards on that gain just to be...
Oh, he's in the record book now.
Nice. So the ball marked now at the 48-yard line of Solano. He got it into Chiefs territory. Wallace out of the shotgun. 4 receivers with Bourgeon in the slot. Wallace looking left side. He's going deep. He's got a man. That's Jamil Vaughn. He caught it, but he was out of bounds. Tough break on a great catch by Jamil Vaughn. And Gino, you weren't with us for that first game, but he has been an impressive receiver in the limited time we've seen him, and he proved it there.
Well, yeah, I mean, if anybody who can go out and play DB and cover a wide receiver all over the field has got to be able to run a couple patterns. At least he's got to have the speed to do it on the defensive end, so you know he's got some athletic ability. Now, I don't know the rule, Joel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you need 2 feet in this league, or is it 1? Because that was darn close to having at least that 1 foot in.
I think it's 1 from my recollection, but I don't go to Vegas on that one. But
Regardless,
either
it was a
way,
nice play.
Yeah, and it was a pretty good throw from Wallace. There's another one on the out pattern. He tried to hit Robert Harrington, the tight end, but number 3, Joe Love, sniffed it out. He was actually the closest one there. So another incompletion. It's quickly 3rd and 10. But back to that play to Vaughn, Gino. He ran a nice pattern, and Wade threw a really nice ball.
Well, when Wade gets a little time, he throws a nice ball. That last play, he threw it a little bit wide, and I don't think he's used to getting that much time to throw, so it probably surprised him. But he's getting some better blocking. He's not getting the rush that he had, and maybe he can start working on the passing game a little bit just to get more comfortable with these plays and with his receivers. Especially with Vaughn out there, he can run a little bit, so why not take a chance?
Vaughn split left with Henry Torres. Right side, it's Gagiri and Harrington. Bourgeon to block. Wallace out of the shotgun, looks for room. He jukes 1, jukes 2, runs across the 40 to the 35, dives forward for, looks like first down yardage, so great scrambling there by Wade Wallace.
It kind of reminds me of Brett Favre scrambling. Favre never looks like he's going anywhere, or just looks like he's just in chaos, and that's what Wade looked like right there, just kind of running chaotically, but running forward, making yardage. And yes, you're right, he did pick up the first down. So hats off to Wade. He's making his own yardage. If you can't throw for it, you might as well run for it, and it's working. So keep it going.
Deft footwork there too by Wade. He had 2 linemen there at midfield waiting to greet him, and he sort of sidestepped them. It was pretty impressive. 4 receivers out of the shotgun on 1st and 10. He underthrows David McLemore. He had men in his face that time, did Wallace. So with 37 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, it'll be 2nd and 10. The ball is down at the Solano 41-yard line.
And with Wade not growing up being a quarterback, as we've mentioned before, I think he was a tight end down at San Diego State, pretty much somewhere part of the line most of his football career. It looks like he throws a good ball, obviously. He's smart, so he can play the quarterback position. But it looks like when he's got that time, he kind of tries to aim it. That time it looked like he tried to aim it, like a pitcher might try to aim up, his pitches to get strikes. That's what he looked like. It's not that fluid quarterback that just kind of lets it go. So something he needs to work on, and obviously he's getting a workout here today, so he's improving every time he steps on the field.
And Coach Clark showcasing Wade here as he's abandoned the Bourgeon offense. Throws one up for grabs, not a smart decision. Only one there's the free safety, Tony Red. Closest receiver for Santa Cruz was David Gagiri, but he was really nowhere near that ball. So again, Wallace under pressure, threw it up for grabs. That was essentially a punt. And unfortunately for Santa Cruz, Tony Red was there to field it. So what began as a decent drive after the Wallace scramble ends with a turnover. 26 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. 54-14 Solano.
Well, yeah, you're right, Joel. That could be considered as good as a punt. I mean, if you're going to throw it and get it picked off, have it be deep in their own territory. So they got a long ways to go. But Wade was scrambling. He's trying to make something happen. You're down this many points. You're just trying to make something happen, and the whole team's trying to make something happen. And you really got nothing to lose. Throw it up. If they pick it off, great. Hey, maybe we'll get a break like they're getting, get a tip ball. Someone comes up with a great catch, just to get some positive momentum going for your football team. And that's what they're all trying to do right now.
Give us to their big linebacker, number 58, and Lamar Brooks is all over it. Throws him down for a loss. That was Kurt Passetti on the carry for Solano, but he went nowhere, and Lamar is fired up, folks.
That was
a
good
loss
matchup.
of 3.
That's a good matchup. They're both about the same size, but Big Lamar took him down. That's a big guy coming through that line. That guy's a linebacker. He's got to be about 6 foot or so, about 230. We know Lamar, how big he is, and he handled him pretty good.
Horn sounds to end the 3rd quarter of play, a much better quarter of play from the Santa Cruz perspective. They trail now 54-14. 4th quarter is coming up. Back for the 4th quarter from San Lorenzo Valley High School field. Solano Chiefs have the ball. They lead 54-14. Ball is at their own 15-yard line. They've got a 2nd down and long. Quick out pattern. That time is caught by number 9, Mauricio Davis. He caught it on a knee, though, so they'll mark him down at the 25.
Kind of interesting that they're still passing, huh, Joel? It's kind of like running up the score in any sport, really, but I guess if it's working, go to it. I guess they really don't have much of a running game. That most of their running backs on the roster that we are looking at are not here today, so they have a makeshift running game, so I guess they need to do some passing, but
that was a second and long play. It's now third and short, third and about 2. They need to get to the 27 of Santa Cruz. Ball's at the 25. Shotgun formation for Stacy Thompson. Scrambles left, now goes right, throws across the middle. No one there. Closest player to it was the linebacker for Santa Cruz, Maurice Lee. Incomplete pass. It'll bring up fourth and short, and we'll see if they'll punt deep in their own territory. I'm assuming they will.
Well, there's Beecham. He's been punting all day. We'll see if he goes back there to do it.
Well, Santa Cruz assumes that he will because they've got D. Adams deep at about midfield awaiting a punt, and that is the formation. But as you said, Beecham always dangerous to run, although up 40 points, you would really hate to see it at this point because it would be a sign of running it up. He does, in fact, kick it, and he kicked it left-footed. D. Adams catches it at his own 38, and he's got room. Waits to set up his blockers. Now Jukes tries to get back out to left side and fumbles. Recovers his own, though, and he's down at the 41. Perhaps he waited a bit too long there, Gino.
Yeah, I think you got to take it and go. You know, you see most punt returns. It's when you break that first line of tacklers. Kick returns are the same way, and he kind of danced around there a little bit too long and almost lost the ball, actually. So that could have been kind of catastrophic for Santa Cruz if he fumbles and they got to go right back on defense. But he didn't, and they got the ball midfield, and let's see what Wade and the offense can do this time. Maybe they can punch it in and give the crowd a little thrill here, Joel.
Ball at the 41-yard line of Santa Cruz, 13:52 to go in the game. They trail by 40, but they trailed by 42 at the half, so they've played them even here in the second stanza.
+2 in the second. Gotta like it.
4 receivers for Wallace. He'll be in the shotgun. Bourgeon, the up back. And we've seen him avoid Bourgeon, perhaps to keep him from further injury and to give Wade a chance to throw on virtually every down and work on his skills. He throws up a jump ball to Harrington, the tight end. And, oh, what an interception, and they don't give it to him. Terrible call by the official. Tony Red with a one-handed interception. He was clearly in bounds. Both feet were in bounds, and somehow the ref waves him out of bounds.
His whole body was in bounds. He was laying on Harrington in bounds. Harrington was out of bounds. I don't know who he was looking at, but he tipped it up. Like you said, a great interception. Another one-handed snag from this Chiefs team. They got some athletic people out there, but I don't know how they couldn't call that an interception. Both feet were in bounds. The only thing that was out of bounds was his helmet, I think, but I don't know if that counts.
No, I didn't see any part of him out of bounds, and Harrington tried to come back for it, but Red read it and beat him to it, came back to the ball, and as we said, just was robbed of an interception there, but from the Santa Cruz perspective, that's fine. Now it's Bourgeon behind Wallace. They give to him. He breaks 2 tackles. Bull rushes his way forward, still on his feet across midfield, very close to the first down markers. So Rich Bourgeon, his yards per carry average, Gino, has just got to be through the roof. They have not, even when he doesn't gain yards, he gains 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's just impressive. I mean, he went straight ahead. The whole team had a piece of him, and he stayed low and just kept his feet pumping, his legs driving, and he got 9 yards, Joel. That was amazing. I thought he was stopped at the line of scrimmage, and then we see him pop out, and he kept going. He's looking better every time he gets the ball.
9.5 probably even he got there. The ball is just short of a first down. We might see the touch play here with Wallace and Perez on 3rd and short. Should be a keeper from Wade. Oh, and Bourgeon jumped. They did finally throw a penalty, and Wallace is drilled to boot. So he's thrown for a 2-yard loss, but it's a false start, so the play was dead. So 3rd and short becomes 3rd and 6.
Yeah, but why didn't the refs throw the penalty right away to stop the play and not let Wade get his head cut off? I mean, he obviously jumped, and He didn't throw the flag till Wade snapped the ball and took off running and got drilled again. But that's where these refs have to really be on top of it, because someone can get hurt in that situation.
Yeah,
we
and
don't want to see that.
Gino, this is strange. Generally, a false start penalty means no play. It's an automatic 5 yards. Boom. What these refs have done here is they've allowed the play to be run because they threw the flag so late and gave Solano the option, and they took the play. So instead of 3rd and 5, it's 4th and about 4 because Wade was thrown for that loss. So a tough break there for Santa Cruz.
Yeah. Thanks, Blue. That doesn't help when you're getting drilled by 40 here either. So
even the refs aren't giving him a break here today. So on 4th and 4, Wade doesn't like what he sees. He calls a timeout. They're at their own 48-yard line. They trail by 40. 12 and a half minutes to go. And again, it's now just a game of where they don't want to get any more injuries. They'd like to finish on a strong note as Bourgeon hobbles over to Coach Clark and Wallace and Torres in on that meeting as well. But again, we've told you folks, this is a game that has implications on the playoff seeding. Santa Cruz hoping to secure a home playoff game, and losing here obviously won't help that quest. But they're in the playoffs. They are going to make it to the postseason in their inaugural season. Just a matter of where and when they will play. Make sure
how they will play, and that's really what's going to come out of this game is how are they going to play going into the playoffs, because first half they weren't here. There were some big plays, but no one really stepped up, and there was just turmoil on the entire side of that Spirit side. Second half they're playing some football, so it really comes down to how they're going to play going to that playoff game.
Out of the timeout, we'll see what they do. Bourgeon, the lone back, 3 receivers for Wallace. Fake to Bourgeon. He rolls right. He looks for a man. He's got Harrington, and Harrington didn't appear to know the ball was coming. A great throw by Wallace. He put it up high where the 6'4" Harrington was really the only guy that could bring it down, but he didn't seem to be looking for it, you know?
Yeah, there's a couple receivers in the area. Torres is over there with Harrington, and it looked like Harrington just drew back or didn't see it like he said at the last minute, resulting in an incompletion and a turnover. But he was there. I mean, I like what's going on at least, Joel. I like that there's receivers that are open. Wade's getting some time to throw. Things are actually working, which is nice to see, because nothing worked in the first half, whether it was penalties or bad plays or no plays or whatever. It was all going against them. Looks like things have turned around a little bit, and they can at least walk off the field saying, hey, this worked or that worked, moving into their playoff game, and they can come up with a scheme to use. The positives out of this game they got to use in their next game.
Some die-hard fans you saw there sticking around for the end of this one. Solano with the ball. They bull rush it up the middle. Still on his feet is the man who's got it, and I have no idea who it is because he's buried under a sea of purple. It appeared to be number 58, their linebacker slash fullback. That's Kurt Passetti. So we'll go ahead and say that he was the man carrying it, even though it's hard to tell. He got about 5 yards on that play, so it'll be 2nd and 5. Clock winds, 11:15 and counting in the game.
Well, I see Hansen taking off his uniform, Joe, so he must be done for the day. He might be hurt, huh? So that's not a good thing.
Well, we told you folks at the top that, or actually near the beginning of the second half, that Hansen had hurt his ribs 3 weeks ago now, and they said he'd be out 4 to 6 weeks. He, of course, returned to play the next week, so perhaps Coach Clark looking ahead to a big game next week now, knowing this one's over, and give Damon a chance to rest those ribs.
Yeah, it could be. It's funny about Damon. We know how much of a madman he is on a football field, but coming into that telecast, we were told about his ribs. There he is out there with his shirt rolled up, no tape, no pads, no nothing. He's like, come hit me, So he's an animal, and he must be hurting pretty good to take himself out of a football game right now.
And while we were discussing Hansen, there was a penalty on the Santa Cruz defense offsides, 5 yards. That was enough for the first down, so it's 1st and 10 at the 37. Thompson looks to throw, goes downfield, and it's right into the shoulder pads of D. Adams. 3rd dropped interception on the day for the Spirit defense, and the intended receiver, Mauricio Davis, was blanketed by number 23, I believe, Dave Phillips. which allowed Adams a free look at the football, and unfortunately he couldn't secure it.
Yeah, that was just right off the two. His jersey just drilled right off his chest. Too bad he couldn't come up with it. And you're right, that is the third time today we've seen a missed interception. Who knows what kind of a factor that would have played, but could have stopped a few drives, maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns. But regardless, we're where we're at now, and they're still playing hard out there, so that's good to see, and keeping the injuries to a minimal at this point.
2nd and 10 now. Ball at the 38-yard line of Santa Cruz. Clock winds inside, 10.5 to go here. Thompson now under center in an I formation, and they pitch left side. That's number 29, Casiglio. He had a little bit of room initially, but he was wrapped up. Number 12 that time, Raymond Paris in on the tackle along with Maurice Lee. So Santa Cruz stops him there. It'll be 3rd and long. This is our last regular season telecast of Santa Cruz Spirit football, and it's been a joy to do here, folks, with all of the crew and community television, and here at San Lorenzo Valley High School Field. It's nice enough to let the Spirit make this their home, and there've been good crowds, beautiful weather every time, so we've been very fortunate. Thompson out of the shotgun hits who else but Joe Beecham. That's about a 10-yard gain, and they needed 10, so another first down. Clock continues to run towards 9 minutes to go. Yeah. Ball is at the 26 now of Santa Cruz.
Yeah, the first time I haven't seen Vaughn all over Beecham. That's really the first open reception he's had all day. Every catch he's had has been on the spectacular side. So, it's too bad for Jamal. He's played a whale of a game out there, covering one of the best offensive players we've seen this year, Joel. And, he can keep his head up. He's done a heck of a job out there today.
Thompson still in the shotgun. So despite a 40-point lead, the Solano Chiefs are deciding to throw and keep on scoring. He double pumps and goes to a man. He's got a man open. Diving attempt unsuccessful. That was number 45, Ed Miro. Coverage that time by D. Adams. And number 12, Raymond Paris. And a great job that time by Santa Cruz. He was on him, just overthrown.
Yeah, good coverage once again. I mean, for the most part today, there's been pretty good coverage, with the exception of a few great plays, and the receivers on the Chiefs side coming back for the ball and making good plays and helping out their quarterback. So can't fault them.
Thompson again on a rollout. He's got a big man out there. That's number 34, another linebacker, and he's going to bounce his way forward. He's brought down by one of the smallest men on the field, Richard Torres. So again, Torres has made some great gallant tackles against the bigger Chiefs. That time, as I said, it was Howard Berry, who's usually a linebacker, and he looks the part, folks. He's a big man, but Torres helped tackle him down.
He looked like Earl Campbell. He's wearing 34, and he's rumbling out there, and here comes Torres, 5'8", throwing his body out there. Did a great job of stopping the touchdown. That's just pride right there. You got to like that.
Ball marked at the 8-yard line of Santa Cruz. It's 1st and goal. Clock winds inside 8 minutes now to go here. I formation for Solano, 2 receivers. Thompson keeps, tries to cut back and does, but he's finally met and drilled. And again, amongst those in there, Torres, along with Shea Ackerley and Will Lenzner. A big group of Spirit that time, all looking to get a shot at the quarterback who's been giving him fits all day.
Yeah, they're still not getting clean shots. He must be pretty shifty. I mean, he looks shifty from here, but on the field, I'm sure it's a nightmare to try to contain that guy. It looked like they had some pretty good straight shots right there, and he still almost scooted away. So he's a good quarterback. He's throwing the ball pretty well, and he's obviously running out of trouble all day. So heck of a job by Thompson.
2nd and goal. Thompson was able to shake and shimmy his way forward for a couple of yards. So the ball's at the 5 of Santa Cruz. Give us to the up back. That's another big linebacker, number 58. He bull rushes forward and carries the pile into the end zone. Another touchdown for Solano. 60 points now for the visiting Chiefs. That time it was Kurt Passetti We've called his name a few times today. He's been impressive as a fill-in fullback for the Chiefs, and they now lead 60-14, 6:59 to go.
I tell you what, Solano's going to go back and look at films next week. All these guys that weren't there, I think they're losing some jobs because these fill-ins are, if you can have some linebackers and DBs fill in as running backs and wide receivers, and they're scoring 60 points on a pretty good defensive, against a pretty good defensive squad. There's going to be some battling for positions over there on the Chiefs sidelines next week in practice. They're going to be giving them a lot of grief, I can imagine. So, who's the guy that just scored, Joel? Passetti?
Passetti.
That guy's just running over people all day.
2-point conversion. They don't have a kicker. Thompson Keith rolls left. He's got a man over there. It's Beecham. Tries to hit him in the corner, but too far. Coverage that time by Jamil Vaughn. Who else? Again, he was blanketing the star Beecham, so 2-pointer unsuccessful. It remains 60-14. And if you just heard what Gino said and just joined us, Solano comes in with a record of 4-2. They were the runner-up last year. They lost the championship game. Clearly a talented roster, but a short-manned roster today. Only 17 of their 44, now 19 of their 44 players showed up. But as you said, Gino, this is, if this is half a team, I'd hate to see a whole one.
Yeah, they're strong. I mean, they look good all around, even with replacement players or whatever you want to call them, people playing in different positions. You can't tell. I mean, if we didn't know they didn't have that many guys, if they showed up with just these amount of people on their roster, we would never know, because the guys that are filling in are doing the job. They know where to be. They know where to go. They're running hard. They're catching the ball. They're going both ways, so they're definitely in some pretty decent shape, football shape. So they've been pretty impressive. Between them and Redwood City, although we saw Redwood City put a pretty decent shellacking on Santa Cruz, but they had 50 guys on their sidelines, and they were impressive from start to finish in all aspects of the game. Even warm-ups were some of the best warm-ups I've ever seen, college or high school or whatever. But then you got these guys, Solano comes over, and they got 17, 19 guys, whatever. And, next thing you know, you look up at the scoreboard, and they scored 60 points with half a team.
And it appears as if Joe Beecham will kick off this time. It's been Darnell Leonore, but Beecham wants to do it. Another lefty boot, not much of one. Squib forward, and who else has got it but big Lamar Brooks? And Brooks jukes one tackle, carries the pile forward, refusing to go down. Lamar Brooks with the highlight of the second half for the Spirit there. The big guy out of North Salinas, 5'11", conservatively listed at 296. He picked that football up like it was a tennis ball. He just grabbed it with those big mitts of his and refused to go down. It took about 5 guys to finally do it.
Well, that was all worth coming here today, right there, that one play. 'Cause I know we talk about tackling low, but that guy's legs are as big as most guys' bodies. So how do you tackle a guy like that? Throw a team on him and hopefully he collapses. That was fun. That was good stuff right there. I think they should put him in running back. Just let him go nuts for about 4 plays.
Yeah, let's see some refrigerator Perry type stuff out of Lamar Brooks, because that was entertaining, folks. He got hit once, twice, and he still kept moving forward. And wow, good stuff.
That's awesome.
46-yard line was where Brooks advanced it to. 4 receivers for Wade Wallace. Bourgeon behind him. Gives to Bourgeon, right side. He's got room, cross midfield, hurdles. He's crossed the 40, 35, 30, one man to beat, 25, 20, 15, refusing to go down, 10, 5, 3, 2. Oh, my, what a run by Rich Bourgeon.
That guy won't go down.
Shades of Earl Campbell there. John Riggins, pick your analogy, but that guy refused to go down, and he gets a congratulatory pat on the helmet from Tony Red, the man who was trying to hold on to the bumper of that truck named Rich Bourgeon.
The guy that he drugged 15 yards, you mean? Jeez,
wow.
And that's out of control, because he was on basically 1 foot. And Red is not small, Joel. He's a big guy. He just drug him into the end zone. He was giving it everything he had to get in the end zone.
And again, Gino, nimble footwork initially. Hit the hole quickly, and he did a little hurdle again to escape someone who tried to cut him at his feet. And then he showed some speed to get to the outside. So we saw it all there. We saw quickness, power, balance. The balance there as he dragged Red along. I mean, how do you keep that up? Just impressive.
You're right, speed. He got to the corner and he turned it. He turned the corner.
Well, you got to give it to him here. Let him finish the deal after that. If you let the guy set it up, you got to let him take it to the house here. 3 receivers for Wallace. Ball's at the 2. Wade keeps
it.
Just
go silent count, let Wade take it in, right?
That's right, and Wade did it for the touchdown. A late signal from the referees, but they finally give it to him. So Rich Bourgeon sets up Wade Wallace. And the Spirit...
Give AC Alex Corrado some little props there for the block. Sorry, I'm just giving my Cardinal alum little props there.
You got to give Alex credit there. 60-20 now. 4:50 to go.
On a serious note, Joel, we kind of discussed it in the first half. As you've seen, as soon as Bourgeon is through the initial line, there's nobody there. And we talked about it earlier. If they could just get that running back across the line of scrimmage, there's open field. And, Bourgeon being the power that he is, he gets through it, and there's no one there. He's going up against the defensive back. There's no contest. So they've proven that will work. So maybe they'll stick with that later.
They faked to Bourgeon. They attempted to go to Alex Corrado, but he was double-teamed that time. Pass way overthrown anyways. So the 2-point conversion unsuccessful. 60-20 now the score. 4:50 to go. And, Gino, I want to go back to this whole Rich Bourgeon issue because if you've been joining us since the beginning of this telecast, folks, he was not part of their starting offense. In fact, he was sitting at the bench looking rather forlorn, kind of just moping around. And it wasn't until they fell behind 22-0 when Coach Clark called timeout and delivered a rousing speech that kind of called everyone out and said, hey, if you're here in uniform, you got to play. And that's when we began to see Bourgeon. But it does make you wonder how this game would have evolved had they been pounding Bourgeon right from the beginning.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, he's definitely the best back on the field besides maybe, Beecham, but he doesn't get the opportunity to come out of the backfield. And we talked about it. He had a broken hand at the last game, so that was the reason we found out he didn't play. And obviously we've seen him gimping around. He's got some type of injury to his leg, but he doesn't show it when he runs. I mean, obviously he's sucking it up, and he's going to probably be hurting after the game, but he's good enough to do this in the second half. Just like you said, I can't imagine what kind of ground game they would have had in the first half. And then that completely changes the defensive strategy for Solano because they were coming with it. They had all 11 guys in the box. They were stuffing it at the line of scrimmage. No one could get through. But they can't do this with Bourgeon because as soon as he gets through, he's gone. And so that's got to make a difference in your strategy as a defensive coordinator. You got to change it around. So what if, right? I mean, what if? So we'll find out what the injury was. We'll find out from Coach Clark and hopefully be able to bring it to the fans next time we're here.
You saw Rich Bourgeon there standing on the sidelines. What you missed while we were showing and talking about Bourgeon was the kick team was one man short, and they said, hey, get in here. And you saw there who really wants to be out there every single play. And, of course, the 2 people that ran out there were quarterback Wade Wallace and big Lamar Brooks. So they were the 2 that wanted to be in on this kickoff. But Brooks won the argument. He's in there, Wallace out. Onside kick, it's a high one. Not bad, but unfortunately for Santa Cruz, it drops right into the hands of a Solano up back, so no opportunity to get a fumble there. With 4:28 to go, Solano will take over at midfield, leading 60-20.
That was kind of interesting, Joel. It was a pop fly onside kick, and it went right to the linebacker / running back, Kurt Passetti, and he just fell down. And that guy's been running over people all day. It's hard to believe that he took a seat right there, but maybe he's tired. He's been going both ways and probably hasn't had to do that since high school. So he's probably ready to go home and wrap this one up.
Clock winds now inside 4 minutes to go. Solano content to just let it run. On a beautiful day for football, Solano jumped out early and has never looked back. They scored the game's first 42 points. They took that 42-point lead to halftime, and the second half has just been a scrimmage, basically, to work on plays. There's a false start, and, ooh, Shea Ackerley gets into it with Dave Bennett. Bennett with a little extracurricular activity there. So they're going to get the 5 yards on Solano, and I'm surprised we didn't get a 15-yarder on either Ackerley or Bennett, but the rest let it go.
Yeah, maybe a good thing, too, because we don't want to get into that here. We saw that the last time we did this telecast against Redwood City. Quarter took about 3 hours because there was trash talking and penalties and everything, so maybe it's good if they just let that go so they'll forget about it.
I want to see Lamar Brooks pick up a fumble here and go to the house. That's what I want to see. Thompson underthrows, and here comes D. Adams off the deflection. He's got nothing but green in front of him.
That's a touchdown.
D. Adams is going to go to the house.
No, he didn't make it. He did not make it.
They did not make it. He's cut down on a great hustle play by Brent Casiglio, the running back. Cut him down at the 3-yard line. So D. Adams off a nice deflection by Richard Torres.
I thought we were going to see another missed interception. Good thing D. Adams was behind him, because Torres made a great play stepping up, and D. Adams is going to get the credit for that one. Should have scored, but he didn't. Nice, great hustle play by Casiglio to save that touchdown.
Yeah, we're going to have to give D a bad time. He's making me look bad up here. I'm saying he's taking it to the house, and he's letting that guy cut him down. Come on, D, what's going on here?
I have to change his name next game.
Yeah, we're going to have to change his name yet again. He just joined us. He went from Dave to David to now D.
He had a good game, though. He had that nice kick return. There you have an interception return. He's made some good tackles. He's having a good game, so maybe the name bring him a little luck.
Well, this gives Wade Wallace another chance to do another touch play touchdown. Second consecutive time he's done that. So he's clearly got that play down in the playbook. And just like that, it's 60-26, 2:27 to go.
6 points is 6 points, and Wade's taking him as any way he can get him.
Solano's defense didn't put up much of a fight. We must be fair here in explaining what just happened. It was the touch play again, but the defense didn't really seem to care that Wade was going to take that in. They probably wished D had just taken it in and saved him the effort it took to go from the sidelines onto the field. But
60-26 looks better than 60-0 we're going to be looking like coming out of that half.
See if Bourgeon gets a chance for a two-pointer here. 3 receivers. He's the lone back. He takes it right side. Ooh, and he's drilled. He refuses to go down, though, and still isn't down, although his progress is stopped, so they blow it dead. But that shows you the spirit of Rich Bourgeon. Despite the fact he was wrapped up by 3 bigger defenders, he never did touch the ground. So with 2:27 to go, that two-pointer unsuccessful. And Solano now leads 60-26, and we'll see another onside kick here. And my man Lamar Brooks is part of that kickoff team.
They just kick it to Lamar. Lamar needs to get the ball. I got to see him rumbling again.
In fact, that two-pointer, we should have seen it to Lamar.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
We want to save Bourgeon, so we should have went to Brooks.
And, I'm really impressed with Bourgeon. It makes me wonder if that guy plays a full game on offense, and that's all you have to concentrate on it. Boy, that could be. He's a weapon, And I mean, Joel, the guy gets stuck and does not go anywhere. He just had 3 of the biggest guys on the Chiefs wrap him up at the line of scrimmage, and they still couldn't get him down. If it wasn't for a whistle, he's not going down.
Yeah, we may have to groom AC to take over at Bourgeon's linebacker position to allow Bourgeon to be a full-time.
Carried away. AC's fine where he is.
Another onside kick upcoming, we believe. And again, Lamar is out there. Harrington, the tight end, will be doing the kicking again. And it's a squib kick, not really an onside kick, taken by Casiglio. Cross midfield, hits the hole hard. Brought down about the 43-yard line. So I don't know why, but Casiglio is demonstrating, celebrating that meaningless 15-yard return.
He's fired up. Everyone else is kind of slacking off. I think his engine's still on full gear here. He's been playing hard all day. He's actually had a really good game.
He got the ball to the Santa Cruz 43. We're inside 2 minutes to go, and it appears as if we're just going to do the smart thing and just ignore the 2-minute warning. There's no need to delay the inevitable. We know what's coming here, folks. So good job by the officials. No 2-minute warning necessary.
They probably didn't remember.
They probably didn't remember. There's so many lights on that scoreboard being lit up by Solano, they can't read the numbers. No gain there on a dive play. That was number 34, Howard Berry, the big guy.
Howard Berry Campbell. He was pretty fun to watch on that screen pass he got.
2nd and 10 here. We're getting down to a minute to go. So again, if you just joined us, the Spirit now will see their record drop to 3-4. They are in the playoffs. Next week's game will determine playoff seeding, so it's a big one for Santa Cruz. If they can win and get some help, they would host a first-round playoff game. And Santa Cruz calling timeout here as they'd like to get another shot on offense. With 46 seconds to go, it's going to be 3rd and long, I believe, upcoming. But to get back to the overall picture here, their last game is next week. If they win and get some help, they're in the playoffs as a home team. If they lose, they're in the playoffs as a road team. They would have to win 2 rounds of the playoffs and to reach the final game, which will be played at Kezar Stadium up in San Francisco. So that's incentive enough there, Gino. If you get a chance to play at Kezar, that's a very history-filled field. So that could be an incentive for them.
Yeah, that'd be really fun to play at Kezar. I mean, obviously, the tradition and the history of Kezar, just to go play in that stadium alone for something that means a lot to these guys. You know, adult football. No one's getting paid out there, so that's kind of the reward to go play in a cool stadium like that, probably in front of quite a few people. So that would be fun to do.
And Solano's going to take a knee, but Santa Cruz is going to call timeout again. So 42 seconds. Well, they're letting the clock wind. The man next door here taking a brief snooze for about 6 seconds. Cost Santa Cruz, a chance at a big play.
Let's see what Clark wants to do. He's adamant about calling these timeouts and not letting this game end. Let's just hope no one gets hurt in the next 3 plays, next 38 seconds.
Well, I believe it's now 4th down. It should be. Yes, they have finally turned the downs marker to 4. So we'll see if Solano punts here to number 1, Richard Torres, or if they decide to just take another knee and let Santa Cruz take over there.
Yeah, Clark's got the offense down there huddled like he's got something he wants them to do, obviously. So we'll see what kind of gadget play he's got.
Well, again,
now they're not
Gino,
going to punt. He's probably going to take a knee like he did before. Let's hope. But there's a wide receiver to the left out there.
Stacy, they don't want Santa Cruz to play offense, so
Well,
Stacy's going to throw a bomb to Beecham.
Well, that's offensive PI.
Beecham throws down Jamil Vaughn, so that'll be offensive pass interference. They'll likely decline and take over on down. So again, Vaughn all over Beecham. And a little gamesmanship there, Gino, as the Solano coach didn't like the fact that Coach Clark wanted to continue to play here. And he decided to try and drop the bomb on him. To no avail. Some trash talk now between Beecham and Coach Clark. And now Big Earl Campbell there pointing at Clark. So
yeah, that's not necessary. I mean, that was obviously pass interference. I don't even know why he did it. I mean, 30 seconds left in a game that's been over for pretty much a whole quarter. Calling those timeouts puts you in those positions, though. So I don't know. Hopefully Coach Clark's got something he wants to prove here. Wants to get done, wants to work on, whatever. But we don't need that.
I'd be willing to bet that the other games that Santa Cruz has played this year have been 2 hours, 2.5 hours, just quickly played affairs, and it's only the 3.5-hour epics that we seem to get here on community TV.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. There's always something.
You've got to be a true fan to sit through one of these. And
well, they're still here. There's still quite a few people here, Joel, so they haven't given up totally.
And in fact, Maurice Lee is reading our minds because he just looked up and pointed to the crowd and said, "Thank you for hanging with us. Thanks for sticking around through this 3.5-hour epic."
Yeah, that's classy right there. That's a good move on Maurice's part. I like to see that kind of things coming out of players, Instead of the trash talking, they actually can thank the crowd for supporting them. That's nice.
So Santa Cruz ball at the 30-yard line. We'll see what Coach Clark wanted to do. It's a three-receiver set. Wallace going deep to Vaughn. He's tripped up, and the interception may have been brought down by Joe Beecham. but the ball was knocked away by Tony Red before Beecham could pull it in. Bodies everywhere. 23 seconds to go. It was essentially a jump ball between Vaughn and Beecham, and it looked like Beecham was going to do another one of his one-handed numbers there before Red stepped in.
Yeah, it could have been some, I mean, there was contact. I mean, you could have called PI. If that was the NFL, that would have been PI in a heartbeat, but refs from letting him play. That's that same ref who didn't allow Red's interception over there on the sideline.
2nd and 10 at the 30, 4 receivers, and Bourgeon in there as well. Wallace in the shotgun, 23 seconds to go. We'll see what Wade does here. Pressure from the backside, but he gets rid of it, and the ball dropped in and out of the hands of Jamil Vaughn. He was open, and it was a nicely thrown ball that time by Wade Wallace. Just couldn't quite bring it in. So it'll be 3rd down, 18 seconds to go.
Yeah, nice pass by Wade. He let that one go. He had some steam on that one. And Vaughn's got to be a little bit tired at this point. He's been covering the fastest guy on the field all day, plus having to play some offense, so he's got to be getting a little winded. He just kind of went through his arms. He'd have to see Jamal get a little redemption on some offense here.
Perhaps he had his back to the defender too, Gino, so he may have wanted to save himself a trip to the chiropractor. He may have felt like he would have gotten drilled had he brought it in, and as you said, with 18 seconds to go, down 34, he doesn't need to be getting hurt with a big game next week. Bourgeon now up the middle, breaks tackles, breaks free, across the 20, 15, 10, spinning and moving his way in. Rich Bourgeon with another touchdown. Another impressive run, 30 yards for the touchdown, and it's 60-32. Boy, I wish we would have seen that from the beginning.
Yeah, we're missing something, Joel. We have to be missing something because the guy is unstoppable. I mean, you can't tell me this defense that clamped Santa Cruz the entire first half, and they can't stop Bourgeon. And fatigue or no fatigue at this point, I mean, he's a one-man show. They're giving him, the offensive line's doing a good enough job just to give him a seam, and he's gone. That's it. He's gone. No one's tackling him. No one can tackle him.
Well, certainly Gino with a 60-26 lead, perhaps Solano not playing as hard, but at the same time, we brought it up once before, you still would have liked to have seen Rich Bourgeon from the beginning to see what he could have done. Not to say that he would have run all over them as he has in the second half, but certainly it would have been nice to establish him early, and who knows what kind of tone that would have set for the rest of the game. 4 receivers for Wallace. They go for 2, in and out of the hands of Gagiri. A catchable ball a bit behind him. He wasn't able to come up with it. We've got a scuffle now on the field. 10 seconds to go. 60-32 your score. And it was the lineman number 72 for Santa Cruz. That's Blake Riggs. He was in on that. Didn't see who was in on it from the Solano side. Although number 68, Mark Hodge, is doing some jawing over there. But either way, another impressive run from Bourgeon. And in the second half, it's been all Santa Cruz. After trailing 42-0, they've outscored them 32-18 in the second half. So certainly some positive signs to take in to next week's important game.
I guess they're not kicking off, huh, Joel? They're walking off the field with 10 seconds to go. So much for that. I guess it's over when it's over. But, you know, like you said earlier, just to wrap it up real quick as far as Bourgeon, I mean, yeah, you change the tone. You change the offense. You change the defense. Opens up more lanes for passing, for running. It kind of opens up everything. And obviously, Coach Clark knows he's a good runner and what he can do. So there's definitely some reasons he didn't play in that first half, be it injury or be it something, you know, some game plan that they had that didn't develop until the second half. Now, as far as him running all over, you mentioned, yeah, you know, Solano might be tired. They're not giving it their all. But you know what? I'm sorry, but I think they don't want to tackle him. I mean, he demonstrated early on the first few carries of the second half that he was going to run over some people. And I think they got the picture like, hey, we're up 60. Yeah, I don't want to tackle that guy. So, I mean, he just has that presence to where he can open up a lot of things in the game. And we'll see what happens in the playoffs and in the next game that they play, if in fact he comes into a bigger part, if he's healthy.
Well, that's going to do it, folks. Again, Community Television proud to present this action for you. Amateur adult football That's it for the home schedule for the Santa Cruz Spirit. There are 3 and 4 heading into next week's game, which will determine playoff seedings. But in the meantime, it's been a pleasure for us to bring this to you, all of these games this season, and hopefully if they do host a game, we can bring that to you as well in the playoffs. And certainly if they make it to Kezar, we'll make the trip there as well. We'd like to thank our sponsor for today's game and throughout the season, Shackle Telecommunications, for their support. Our producer and director of today's broadcast, Will Anderson. Our camera people, Roger Ewell, Patrick Chose, and Jan James. Our audio man, Dan Edler. Technical assistance by Angel Ayala. For my color man, the hitting machine, Gino Panelli, I'm Joel Domhoff. Thanks for joining us. Once again, the final score, Solano 60, Santa Cruz 32. Good luck to the Spirit next week, and in the playoffs, thanks for joining us, everybody. The game of the year. Tonight, longtime rivals meeting once again at Aptos and Watsonville. The Mariners making the short drive south on Freedom Boulevard with a record of 6-3, 5-1 in league, while the home team Wildcats come in with a record of 8-1, also 5-1 in league play. This, folks, essentially is a win or go home game. Both these teams tied for second. The winner gets an automatic berth into the playoffs, while the loser likely goes home. Let's go down now to our reporter, Kirsten Fairchild.
Thank you very much, Joel and Pat. Hey, this is so exciting here on the sidelines. I wish we could get a shot of all the people trying to get into the stadium. My family were lifelong Pajaro Valley residents. This is what it's all about, Aptos and Watsonville rivalry, but especially in football and especially on this field. Talked to Aptos coach Bill Garrison. He said, hey, great game. Magnify great players. We'll see about that rushing attack for Aptos. It's going to be fun to watch. Watsonville coach Sean Tenenbaum says, hey, look, getting Drew Milsarf, number 33, the running back, the senior running back who was told he would be out for the season with an MCL during the San Lorenzo Valley game, which was brought to you on the Game of the Week. He's back, and that means so much to this Watsonville team. Jake Linney, who's been out with a partial hamstring tear, he is back. He is starting tonight. It's just going to be a fantastic game. I'm so excited. Back up to you, Joel and Pat.
All right, Kirsten, thank you very much. You talked about the rivalry, the energy. You can feel it here in the crowd, the cheerleaders, the bands, both sides of this field packed. These guys are ready, and so are we. And as I bring in my color man, Pat Lovell, Pat, let's talk strategy here. Aptos comes in with the #1 offense in the league, averaging 32 points a game, while Watsonville comes in with the #1 defense in the league, giving up just 5 points per game. Something's got to give here tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game tonight, Joel. The only thing is, you know, you look at the stats in there, and Watsonville is a #2 offensive team, so they're not too far behind. I think there's only 2-point-something yards, and average that separates the two teams, so it's going to be a real close ball game. But that defense, you know what they say, defense wins the games for you, and the Cats are certainly ahead in the defensive part of this game tonight.
All right, folks, you've heard it all here. We're ready for action. We'll be right back with the opening kick in just a moment.
The 17th season of the Game of the Week is brought to you by AT&T Broadband and KRUZ Channel 4 Sports.
Hey, check this out.
Winding spoons on the boardwalk. Work with friends at the beach. Flexible schedules. the league leader in employment for students and athletes. Whiting's Foods, a fun place to work. Check out the website, whitingsfoods.com. Family owned and operated for nearly 50 years. Aldo's at the Yacht Harbor, a tradition for 38 years.
My dad built this business by bringing in fresh fish and by making fresh bread, pasta, and raviolis daily.
And at Aldo's Bakery, you'll find baked goods fresh every day.
My family has been part of the Santa Cruz community for over 50 years. My brother and I played high school sports. Our children are also involved. We know from first-hand experience these programs help our kids develop the confidence needed to move our community into the future. Join us for good things to eat.
When you work with young people like I do, you have to get to know them so you know how to motivate them. It's the same for my business, the Felton Grocery Outlet. Only here I don't have to motivate the customers. My prices will do that. I have to motivate my staff to make sure our store gives the finest service anywhere, whether I'm here on the track or here in our store. You can count on one thing. We all give 100% to our customers and to our community.
Felton Grocery Outlet, giving 100% to our community is what we're all about. Your home is too important to trust just anyone. Carter Pest Control has been serving Santa Cruz County over 60 years with their proven techniques and top professionals.
The challenge facing me is to maintain our 63-year tradition of local ownership and dependable service.
When you talk to Cardiff, you talk to
Me. Call us anytime. We've been here for 63 years. We're here when you need us. We are your pest solution.
Welcome back, football fans. Joel Domhoff alongside Pat Lovell, getting ready for kickoff here from Watsonville High Field. And Pat, we talked a little bit in the opening about these two offenses. Defensively, what are we going to see from Watsonville? How are they going to try and stop Aptos's tough offense, which has multiple sets, multiple options? What does Watsonville do to stop Aptos tonight?
Well, they're liable to stack them up there inside, Joel, to take away that running game, because Aptos, of course, has the three great running backs on their squad this year. They have Stevens, who is leading ground gainer in the SCCAL this year with 843 yards. In sixth place is Jesse Samples, who's 625 yards, and behind him is Wagner with number 8 spot with 482 yards. So they've got a lot of potency there in their running game. They haven't thrown the ball, that well this year, but I think that what Watsonville will do is stack them up in the middle and try and take that running game away.
Okay, now let's talk about the other side of the ball. When Watsonville has it on offense, what does Aptos do defensively to stop the number 2 offense in the league?
Well, I think that you're probably going to see the same situation, because, Watsonville runs that option play very well. They have their two starters back in there that were injured. The quarterback, Linney from Watsonville is back in the lineup, and Milzark was the number 1 rusher in the league at the time, and Milzark, of course, is back now playing after that knee injury that he received in the SOB game, and he's got 478 yards, and he's coming back strong. Now, how effective they're going to be tonight, we don't know, returning from injuries. One had a hamstring and one had a serious knee injury. So if they get their offense going, plus they've got the 2 great receivers. They got the big, tall guy who can catch just about anything. So it's going to be an interesting game tonight.
Now, you've seen a lot of these games over the years. Talk about the energy you've got around you here tonight. We've got yellow pom-poms going below us, a great rivalry, the bands, the cheerleaders. What type of atmosphere are we seeing here tonight?
Well, the thing that gets me right now is I'm looking from the booth and I'm looking out toward the ticket booth. They're still lined up for a block outside there trying to get into this game. So I'm sure we're going to see probably a crowd of around 3,000 people tonight, which is terrific for the city of Watsonville and for the Watsonville Wildcats hosting the Aptos Mariners tonight. So it's, one of those games that's got a lot of electricity in the air. And as you alluded to earlier, it's such an important game as far as the playoffs go, because like you said, number 2 gets an automatic berth. Number 3 has to sit and go to that meeting as a wild card. And that's going to be, quite interesting to see if we get 3 teams out of the SCCAL. The other thing is, if that happens, that'll be great, and we'll get to see 3 of our best teams in the playoffs this year.
All right, Pat, Aptos has won the toss. They have elected to receive back deep for the Mariners. It's number 24, their leading rusher, Dan Stevens, along with Jesse Samples, and number 12, Tim Sunzeri. And we're about ready for action here from Watsonville High School. Back deep to kick for Watsonville. It's number 1, Eric Tapia. It's a squib kick, and we've got a flag down.
I think we have offense on that play, Joe. I think the Cats were a little ahead of the ball.
Before they re-kick it, Pat, let me quickly thank our sponsors here tonight. First of all, Scarborough Lumber and Building Supplies. Also, thanks to Whiting's Foods on the boardwalk, to the Spa Fitness Centers, to Cardiff Pest Control, to Seacliff Inn, Best Western, and finally, thanks to our new sponsor, glad to have them aboard the AT&T Game of the Week, Aldo's Restaurant. Backed up 5 yards, Watsonville will try it again. Again, it's a squib kick. Picked up by, it's a fight for it. Finally, it's Samples, I believe, or is that Stevens that's got it, and it's a rugby pile early. Not much yardage there. Aptos will take over at their own 30-yard line.
That's kind of a bad way to start. Everybody was in on that tackle except the kicker. Tapia was the only one that wasn't in on that play. That's you know, they couldn't determine who was going to catch that ball, and it was bouncing around, taking all those weird moves. So that's a tough one to start off with.
Mariners, as we said, run this multiple option offense. The split backs are number 34, the fullback Joe Wagner, and of course number 24, Dan Stevens. Quarterback number 8, Weber. He gives to Stevens, jukes one tackler, but there are many more Wildcats there to meet him. No gain, it'll be 2nd and 10.
It didn't look like the timing was quite right on that play, Joe. It looked like the pitch was a little bit off. You know, it wasn't a direct, nice spiral pitch to him. It was off a little bit. I think that made him, you know, deter his route a little bit, and it made it kind of tough on him.
Dustin Weber under center for Aptos. If you're a fan of the Mariners, you know they rotate quarterbacks. Kyle Vander Zanden will see an equal amount of time as well. Man in motion, they give to the fullback this time, and again, no gain. That play went to Joe Wagner, and he was tackled right at the 30. So again, it'll be 3rd and 10.
Yeah, it looks like they're in a 5-man front right now. The Wildcats are, and they're stopping everything so far pretty darn well.
As we said, they've only given up, folks, 51 points all season. And my math was incorrect because I assumed they had played 10 games. They've only played 9, so instead of giving up 5.1, not a big difference. They're giving up a little more than that, but still a great Wildcat defense as we've seen here early. 3rd and long, man in motion, Samples. Give is to Samples on the left side. He's got room, spins away, gets some yardage, but not enough for a first down. Across the 35 to about the 37. So 3 and out for Aptos, and they'll have to punt.
Yeah, they had a little bit of running room there, but I tell you, the Cats, as they're called, they're calling themselves, their defense this year are called the Killer Bees, and their reaction to the ball, I think their overall team speed is what really helps them too. It looks like they've got tremendous overall team speed and pursuit.
Back deep for Watsonville, they have 2 men back there. It's number 31, Javier Ayala, and number 21, Max McCoy. The punt is a short one, however, and they let it bounce smartly. Aptos downs it at their 36-yard line, so Watsonville will take over their first possession. 1st and 10 from their own 36.
The kicker on that play was Chris Marino, 5'8", 165-pound senior from the Aptos Mariners with that punt.
Watsonville now with their first possession. Just 2 minutes into the game. We've got no score here. And under center for the Wildcats, it's Jake Linney. And he gives to number 21. That's Max McCoy, left side. Tries to cut back to the middle. Gets a few yards. But Aptos was there. He got to the 38, so it'll be 2nd and 8.
Getting up off the bottom of that pile for the Mariners, number 42, Zach Hewitt, 6 foot, 200-pound junior for the Mariners. He tried to cut back, and he had him off at the pass.
2nd and 8 now. Split backs behind Linney. Man in motion, that's the big guy, number 82, Alberto Garcia. Give us to the up back. I believe that's number 31, Javier Ayala. He tries the right side and gets across the 45 to about the 46. Just short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and short.
I think what you'll see, Joel, is the Wildcats are probably trying to run outside a little bit, not so much in the front, because The Mariners have Steve Norton in there. He's a down lineman. He's 6'2", 352-pound senior. I wouldn't want to run into him, I'll tell you that.
They've marked it at the 45. They need to find the 47. Give us to the deep back. That's number 18. And, excuse me, that's number 19, Adrian Reynoso. And he's brought down for little to no gain. So Aptos's defense there stops him. And it'll be 4th and short, and Watsonville has an early decision here whether to go for it, Pat.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you would at this deep in your own territory, but you never know. That Mariners had great pursuit on that play, and they really shut him down. I guess they're going to measure it, so I guess their angle is a little bit different from ours, but it looks like it's about a half a yard short from here.
And I've got to get my eyes checked. These yellow numbers under the glare of the lights, I thought it was Reynoso. It was actually number 16, Sean Hermosillo, on that play for Watsonville, who carried it. And although we can't tell on our monitors, we can tell right in front of us here that it is short, about a half a yard. So Watsonville coach Sean Tannenbaum has an early decision to make here. Ball's at his own 46. And with the number 2 offense in the league, Pat, you would think he'd have confidence in him to be able to get a half a yard.
Yeah, you never know. I've seen that come back to haunt people before. So you never know.
Well, the quarterback, Jake Linney, is coming out, so they are going to go for it. Big early play here in the ball game, 4th and short. Watsonville's going to go for it. They have one back behind Linney. That's Drew Milzark. Linney barking signals, perhaps trying to draw them off sides, and it appears that's what he's doing, but we'll see. Yeah, that looks like what's happening here, Pat. Trying to draw the Mariners off sides. They're not going to bite. So Watsonville will take the delay of game penalty, back it up 5 yards, and bring in the punt team.
Yeah, their trickery didn't work that time. He was trying to get him to jump off sides and get that first down the easy way, but the Mariners were smart enough to keep their composure and not jump into that neutral zone and force the Wildcats into a punting situation.
Back deep to punt for Watsonville. That's Alberto Garcia. And he's a big guy, 6'4", 205. Back deep for the Mariners, it's number 3, Jesse Samples. Snap is good, flag goes up, and a booming kick by Garcia. Samples is going to let it hit at the 20. Takes a Wildcat bounce inside the 15, goes out of bounds at about the 12, and we'll check the penalty. But an impressive kick that time by Alberto Garcia, nonetheless.
It'll be legal procedure on the Wildcats. They did not have enough men up on the line of scrimmage. So you could tell that from up here in the booth. Somebody was supposed to have been up on the line. They only had 6 men up on the line of scrimmage, and you got to have 7. So that's where the penalty will take them back another 5 yards. So, and that was an outstanding punt. It got a great Wildcat roll on it. It was out on you can see up there, out on about the 13-yard line or so, which would have been terrific for them. And now they got to kick it over.
Yeah, 4th and 1 has become 4th and 11. Ball was at the 46, and now it'll be marked down at the 36. So 10 big yards here could come back to haunt Watsonville, although I'm sure their coach Tannenbaum feels like he's got the best defense, and field position not quite as important for his killer bees. Samples now moves up to the 30-yard line to receive this punt as the officials try and figure out what's going on here. And as you told us earlier, Pat, the line continues outside. People still trying to get in back there.
Yeah, they're checking the penalty spot here. It looks like they had them back a little bit too far.
Should be at the 36, and that is where they have finally placed it. So it took them a while, but they got it right.
Yeah.
So again, Garcia goes back to kick. Samples waits for the Mariners. Snap is good again. Garcia with plenty of time. Another booming kick, a bit lower though. Samples catches it at his 25. He's immediately brought down. Ball on the ground. Will they say the ground caused it? No, but either way, Aptos recovered. Number 9, Joe Pinpin, with a heads-up play because they were going to rule that a fumble. So great play by Pinpin to avoid a costly turnover there.
Yeah, they were lucky on that one. That ball loose, and the guy was right on top of him. The tackler was holding the runner down, and they had another guy coming back who recovered it. I'm not sure what his number was, but that was a nice break for the Mariners.
Samples caught it at the 25, was immediately drilled. Ball went down, and Pinpin got it at the 22. That's where Aptos will have it. And our first look now at Kyle Vander Zanden, under center for Aptos. Motion man Samples. Gives to Samples left side, follows his lineman, gets close to the 25, perhaps the 26. It'll be 2nd and about 6 for Aptos.
They've run that play a couple times now, and they haven't gotten a heck of a lot of yardage out of it. I wonder if we'll see them put the ball up in the air here. They're passing on offense for the Mariners is 513 yards, which is just about 1/4 of their running yardage. So you can see why they keep running, trying to slam it in there.
Yeah, if they're not going to stop the run, no need to throw,
yeah.
right? 2nd and about 7, ball at the 25. Vander Zanden has split backs behind him, Stevens and Wagner. Give that time is to Wagner. The big man goes up the middle, falls across the 25 to about the 28, so it'll be 3rd and 5.
Yeah, the Killer Bees shut him down pretty good on that one. There was not much running room there at all.
We can see early why they are nicknamed the Killer Bees and why they have only given up 51 points. I know it's only been 5 plays, but in those 5 plays, Aptos has about 8 yards. So it is 3rd and 4, ball at the 28. And again, it's Wagner and Stevens behind Vander Zanden. Pinpin in motion. Vander Zanden back to pass. Flag goes up, and he goes down. Number 82, Alberto Garcia. He's the man who punted it and pinned him back there, and he pins him back even further with a bear hug of a sack that time.
It looks like the Killer Bees, what they're doing is they're shifting that line. They're looking, giving them the odd look, and then they're moving into an even look. And I think what happens is Aptos may not be adjusting to that movement in the line, and that's why he was open to be sacked that time.
Penalty that time was illegal procedure on Aptos, and of course Watsonville will decline that. So illegal motion, I should say. So of course Watsonville declines. Back deep to punt in his own end zone is Chris Marino. And for Watsonville again, it's number 31 Javier Ayala and number 21 Max McCoy. Kick barely gotten off that time, but done nicely. Ball fumbled on the ground, but it's recovered by McCoy. Almost a big turnover there. We've seen 2 near turnovers on punts. That time McCoy was able to recover his own fumble, so with 6:01 to go, we're scoreless. Watsonville's second possession comes at their own 48, and before they start, let's go down to Kirsten.
Thank you very much, Joel and Pat. I'm here with Watsonville sophomore Reagan Sales, who has her own rooting section at the moment. Reagan switched from tennis to golf during the fall season at the beginning of the fall season, and she had never played 18 holes in regulation, but she qualified for CCS. First of all, tell us why you switched to tennis to golf.
Well, I played tennis all year, all over during the summer, and then towards when the season started, my knees started giving me a lot of pain, so I had no choice but to play something else, so I decided to go for golf.
So when's the last time you'd even played golf?
When I was in about 5th grade or something like that. It's been a long time.
So tell me, I know you were Watsonville's #1 golfer, but how did you qualify for CCS in such a short time?
I don't know, I just made a lot of improvement over the whole season, so I don't know, I don't know how it happened.
Well, we'll keep looking for your name in the future. Back up to you, Joel and Pat.
Kirsten, thank you very much. Watsonville's second play here. They got 5 on the first, and it's a give to the up back. That's the fullback, number 33, Drew Milzark, and he's close to a first down. It'll depend on the spot. That was a 2nd and 5 play. Watsonville got 5 yards on the first play from scrimmage on a run by McCoy. And first down, our first down of the game comes at the 5:20 mark. So Watsonville into Aptos territory at the 42.
That was a nice looking play. Milzark got some great blocking up front and just turned it up inside there and got 5 yards and got that first down.
Clock winds towards 5 minutes to go in a fast-moving first quarter. Watsonville with their second possession. Lone back is Milzark behind the quarterback, Jake Linney. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Give is to Milzark up the middle, and he's drilled for no gain. The big man in the middle, that's number 70, Steve Norton, 6'2", 352, and he used all that size that time to shut the hole on Watsonville.
I think I made that comment earlier, didn't I? Who'd want to run up the middle with that big guy right there? He's a darn good defensive player. I've watched him in other games, and he rules that middle pretty well.
And Pat, very agile for 350 pounds. He had a little footwork that time to cut off the hole.
Yeah, he sure does.
Split backs now behind Linney on 2nd and 11. Man in motion is Paul Huerta. Give up the middle, that's number 33 again, Milzark. And a nice gain that time across the 40 to about the 38 of Aptos. It'll be 3rd and about 5.
Yeah, they ran that off tackle play pretty darn efficient that time. The blocking was good, and you know, he picked up about 5 yards on that play. It looked real good.
So Jake Linney's Wildcats will look at a 3rd and 6, ball at the 38 of Aptos. It'll be split backs again behind Linney, and the man in motion again is Huerta. Give is to Milzark once again. No, it's actually a keeper by Linney, and that'll be close to a first down. He faked me out and faked out the defense as well. He needed to reach the 30-yard line, 31-yard line. So again, it will depend on the spot, but nonetheless, a nice play by Linney.
Yeah, he really made that look good. He really sucked everybody in on that pitch. It looked like he threw the ball back there, and they all keyed on Milzark, and he kept it and just kept on, churning upfield. They've run that play very effective throughout the year. The problem that I saw that they had when they played San Lorenzo Valley, of course, both of these teams losing to San Lorenzo Valley this year, was his timing on the pitch in that game was not real good, and he threw it before the runner was ready to accept the ball, and it cost them a couple times with the ball, having the ball on the ground. So, that's such a key, crucial timing play that you got to make sure that you know where your trailer is all the time, and just, don't throw it back there blind. But Lenny has showed all year long that he's a good option quarterback, and they run the heck out of that play.
Well, they're about a foot short, folks, and again, they're going to go for it, although this time I'm sure they will try and run the play. Last time, as you recall, they just tried to draw Aptos offside, but with the ball inside the 35, they do, and Linney, keeper up the middle, he bull rushes his way forward. Looks like he'll have enough for the first down if they give him the spot that he deserves, and I see one referee standing at the 30, and it is a first down, so fresh set of downs for the Wildcats as they look to score first.
Yeah, Linney's a good-sized guy, and, it takes some doing to get him down. He's 6'2", 200-pound senior, and one of the captains of the team, and he does a fine job. I think he's also a fine basketball player, and his dad, of course, coaches here at Watsonville High School.
Yeah, Bob Linney, a longtime coach here. Oh. We've got a penalty there. All sorts of movement up front, so it looks like Watsonville jumped first. They did, so it'll be 1st and 15 at the 35.
We had number 77, Rene Munoz, was a little bit early on that play, and it'll cost the Cats 5 yards.
Clock winds inside 3 minutes to go first quarter.
A little trivia, Jake Linney and I went to the same high school, but not together.
And which high school was that?
Sequoia High School in Redwood City.
All right. All sorts of movement up front here for Watsonville. Linney keeps. Does he pitch? He finally does. He's got the man outside. That's number 31, Ayala. A nice option play that time. Big gain for Watsonville. Inside the 25 of Aptos. It'll be 2nd and short.
Yeah, Linney did a real nice job on that. He kept the ball right to the very, very end, and that's what really sets that play up nice. And he knew right where the trailer was on that one.
Javier Ayala showing his speed outside, 5'10", 170 junior. And they ran that option nicely to set up this 2nd and 3. They need to reach the 20. Lenny rolls right. He's got plenty of time. Looks to throw across the field, and the ball is tipped. Number 34, Joe Wagner, that time got a hand up. Two receivers out there for Watsonville, Ayala and Garcia. But Wagner made sure neither one of them got to it.
Yeah, I think that was Ayala that got his hand up there and couldn't quite get it. Was thrown a little bit off. His positioning was not very good either. He had his shoulders turned kind of in an awkward angle and makes it awful tough to catch that ball because Lenny fires it pretty darn hard. We're loving to see Alberto Garcia here, their big 6'4", 205-pound senior tight end going after that ball.
3rd and 3. And they're going to get Watsonville, I think, for movement that time. Yeah, they had the whole team moving there, Pat.
Yeah. Yeah, they said, let's run the all-motion play, and they said, okay, let's do it, you know.
So 3rd and 3 becomes 3rd and 8. Again, Watsonville needs to reach the 20 of Aptos to extend this drive.
Yeah, sometimes all that trickery just doesn't quite do it for you, you know. Yeah. So it comes back to bite you a little bit.
Yeah, better to keep it simple. Lenny has one back behind him. That's Milzark, 4 receivers. It's a quarterback draw. He's got to get by the first man, and he can't. I believe that's number 66, Erasmo Diaz. No, I beg your pardon, number 60, Mark Romero on the play. So it'll be 4th and 8.
Yeah, Romero did a nice job of staying home on that particular play because Lenny did have some running room up there. I don't know if he would have got the first because he's about 7 yards. I don't know if he would have got it, but there was a nice hole there, and that was a nice play by Mark Romero.
Well, Pat, it looks like they're going to go for it. It's be a 45-yard field goal, so that's a bit much to ask, although there is no wind here tonight. The flags are very limp. But they go for it anyways. Lenny looks right side. He throws it up for the big man. Again, it was Garcia out there. But the pass ball's incomplete over his shoulder. So Watsonville turns it over on downs. It'll be Aptos ball at their own 27.
Yeah, that looked like a tough pass to catch. He threw the ball high. And again, he didn't seem to have his body in position, in the right position to pull the ball down. So, you know, it's all timing and, you know, as you know, practice makes perfect, and I'm sure they've worked on that play a lot, but sometimes it just doesn't turn out the way you think it's going to.
Second series for Dustin Weber under center for Aptos. He has 4 receivers, no running back. Samples in motion. Fumble. Samples again with the attempted carry that time, but before he could get it from Weber, ball put on the ground. Aptos recovered. So no gain, 2nd and 10, inside a minute to go, first quarter.
Well, we've seen, it looks like the #1 defensive team is the #1 offensive team so far right now. Aptos hasn't been able to move the ball very well at all. The Killer Bees are playing tough, and, you know, Watsonville's had a couple, you know, fair drives, but they have stopped them, you know, here and there. Have a sideline warning on the other side against the Aptos team.
I think they actually did it to both sides, Pat. I saw them have Watsonville move back as well. So the enthusiasm spilling out from the sidelines here. The guys on the sideline want to get in the game so much that they're actually standing on the field. So
well, you know,
the intensity of this game.
This game is for district pride, too. You know, the Pajaro Valley District, you know, these are the 2 schools that we have here. If the new Millennium High School is ever built, then we'd have 3, which may change the rivalry a little bit, but right now it's these 2 schools.
So we've got it straightened out. 2nd and 11. Ball at the 26. Man in motion, Stevens. Another flag as they give it to Stevens. Left side, he fights his way across the 30 to the 32. So we'll check the penalty. Montoya on the tackle for Watsonville. And again, an illegal shift that time on Aptos. So the Killer Bees have a decision here. They could take the play, which would force a 3rd down, I believe, or the penalty would make it 2nd and long.
Yeah, they're trying to decide right now what's going to be the best for them. So they're Oh, they took them back. They took the yardage on that one.
Ball put down at the 21, and Aptos needs to reach the 37. So it's 2nd and 16. Clock winds inside 20 seconds to go. Appears as if Aptos will get one more play off before the quarter ends. Split backs behind Weber, Wagner, and Stevens. Fumble on the snap by number 8, the quarterback, Weber. Tries to fall forward to salvage something out of nothing. May have got back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd and long for Aptos when we come back. That's the end of the first quarter. After 12 minutes of play here on the AT&T Game of the Week. Aptos nothing, Watsonville nothing. Back for the second quarter right after this.
The 17th season of the Game of the Week is brought to you by AT&T Broadband and KRUZ Channel 4 Sports. You should know that Scarborough Lumber is one of the oldest and most community-oriented businesses in our region. From Pop Warner to the new Scotts Valley Falcons to the San Lorenzo Valley Cougars and Cabrillo College, Scarborough is there providing resources and support. Scarborough Lumber and Building Supply is involved because sports helps develop leadership and responsibility with our young people. From their garden store to lumber, to hardware to building supplies, Scarborough Lumber and Building Supplies, working to make our community stronger and better. There are 2 King's Paint stores to serve you in Santa Cruz County with quality products at prices lower than box stores. He runs the Soquel store and tries to tell his brother Ron what to do.
He never listens to me.
Ron doesn't like to talk on TV. You'll find the best paints always at the lowest prices at King's Paint and Paper. They'll compete with anybody. Isn't that right, Ron? King's Paint and Paper, 2 great locations, locally owned for 20 years.
Take me back in time, when music was music, and when asked to dance, he held you close. Take me back to Severino's, where the past has a popular new twist. Swing music, it's back and loved by the young and young at heart. Severino's has the best in live swing music with Don McCaslin and Ralston Brown. Share a dance, meet new friends. Severino's has a full bar, and Charlie, well, he's just part of the show. Enjoy a delicious meal that's sure to satisfy and relax on the warm and peaceful patio. Enjoy a little bit of the past tonight at Severino's.
A good transportation system, one that can effectively deal with traffic congestion, starts with an efficient transit system. That means clean buses, modern facilities, and more frequent service. At the Regional Transportation Commission, we're partnering with the Metro Transit System to make getting around easier for you.
Traffic problems are going to continue. We have to find solutions. Metro is one of those. We have to support it. Each and every day, Metro improves the quality of life for people in Santa Cruz. Metro makes a difference.
If you know a kid with a terminal illness who'd like to take their family on vacation for free, call Give Kids the World. They'll never forget it.
And the way the Killer Bees played that first quarter, Pat, not likely that they'll get 17 here.
No, you know, I wonder if they're, you know, the Mariners might be a little nervous right now, and they'll hopefully pick it up here later in the game, but you don't know.
Weber gives to the man in motion. That's Tim Sunzeri, and he's thrown down for a loss. They swarmed that time, living up to their nickname. We don't want to beat that one to death, but it was clear there that time that Watsonville sniffed it out. Thrown for a loss was Aptos, so they'll have to punt again from their own end zone. Should be good field position for Watsonville.
Yeah, they really strung that play out well, just like you're supposed to. But, you know, you can't make that flat cut. You can't run east to west. You got to run north-south, turn those shoulders upfield. But there was nothing there for him.
Max McCoy stands at the Aptos 40-yard line. Give you an idea of where Chris Marino is punting from. He stands on his own goal line. Snap is good. Kick is good. McCoy's going to let it bounce, and it takes a Mariner bounce across midfield into Watsonville territory. It's down at the 46. So a fine punt. And we've got roughing the kicker, it looks like, as a penalty that time.
Yeah, it'll be, I'm sure it'll be the 5-yarder, I think. It's not going to be the 15-yarder. So it'll be a 5-yard penalty. They'll just move it up and kick it over again.
Well, that could be a break for Watsonville, because that was a heck of a punt by Marino.
Yeah.
And it got a good bounce too. So even though Watsonville committed the penalty that time,
yeah, that's a new. In fact, that's a new rule this year. It's either 5 or 15, and it looks like it's going to be the 5-yarder. So I think we have to wait and see if what they mark off here.
I think I saw the referee put 5 up, but
yeah,
we'll have to check it. Aptos may want to decline it. Are they allowed to do that, Pat?
No, that wouldn't be too smart because they do Watsonville.